So much for mic checks.
Fuck it, we'll do it. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Who needs mic checks, right?
I was going to go grab a beer. You're like, no, mic checks.
Oh, and we're live. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
We were going to do mic checks. We didn't.
No, we're not. Apparently. Oh, welcome in to yet another Broncos TNF game. It's a great tradition here on Bootleg where we do our best to get you through this. I can't promise it's going to be a good game. The Saints are very, very, very banged up. Ooh. Brett has Giga Echo? Hold on. This is why we are supposed to do mic checks.
Kinda. Maybe. Oh, do you have both audios on?
Now I see. Because I set up a new camera for myself, or for whatever reason, it was taking my camera audio and my mic audio at the same time. How are we doing, boys? How are we doing?
All right.
This is why we do that.
Yep.
Anyway.
Now better. Much better. Excellent. Thank you, chat. We appreciate it. That would have been really, really bad for like an hour.
If we let that go for the entire show. EJ, I'll let you get us started here. What are you looking for, if anything, to make this game entertaining?
I'm betting the under. I don't think either offense is really going to be able to score. The Saints defense has been very good. If you listen to the podcast, we talked about how good the Broncos defense has been this year and how difficult they've made it on the opposition. Plus, the Saints are down a bunch of offensive playmakers. And look, it's Spencer Rattler's second start. I think Spencer Rattler did some very good things in his first start, but he is going to see a whole different animal in the Broncos defense tonight. He has not seen this really probably at any level of football he's ever played. So it's going to be a new experience for him. It's going to be rough going. I'm not going to say it's impossible to score, but it's going to be very difficult. And then on the other side, Bo Nix and the Broncos offense, they've had their moments, fits and starts, but they have not scored a lot of points ever. They just, for the most part, have not cranked it up. And the Saints defense, again, is going to make that very, very difficult. Brandon Thorne put out his true pressure rates today, updated to this point of the season. Two of the Saints pass rushers were in the top 25, which I think would surprise people. The secondary is extremely physical. They're not going to let those receivers get free releases. There's possibilities there. I would say more in the Bo simulated running game, the screen game, getting outside, getting those backs. Denver stable of backs, very diverse, very talented. They can, if they make some seams, they can exploit them. But in general, I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair. Both these defenses are very good. And if you enjoy that kind of football, you're in for a good night. If you want fireworks, offensive fireworks, you might have a long evening tonight.
You should expect a ton, and I mean a ton of man coverage. The Broncos are almost right at the very top in terms of man coverage calls this year. Cleveland's at 39.4%. The Broncos are second at 34.2%. So considering there's a 5% gap between number one and number two, that tells you just how insane the Browns are this year in terms of calling man. But Broncos are number two, Saints are number five. So expect a lot of tight man-to-man coverage. These are two really, really physical secondaries that are extremely aggressive. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a bunch of penalties because of that as well. And that's also an opportunity, I think, for one Alvin Kamara to lead the Saints in literally everything, because he's going to need to. But with how heavy the blitz rate is, in particular the man blitz rate is for Denver, like the Saints screen game needs to be on point, and I know Denver knows that. But like they need to hit screens to Kamara to slow that down, because once Denver gets going with all these man blitzes, like they man blitz more than literally everybody else in the league, it can just be suffocating, right? And I kind of did factor that in to our underdog entry tonight as a little transition to that. Keep in mind, this is a moonshot of an entry, okay? It's a $25 entry.
Coming from you, that's something else.
It's like a 57x payout if all five of these hit. So it's not likely, but I needed something to look forward to for this game, okay? So
bet on both kickers?
No, I stayed away from kickers just for you. Just for you.
Okay.
But I
Just
did
for
take Alvin Kamara higher than 37.5 receiving because it seems like every time the Saints receivers go down and they have to rely on Kamara in the receiving game, he always puts up like 80 plus. So I took Kamara higher than 37.5 receiving. I took Bo Nix higher than 194.5 passing. Couple that with Troy Franklin getting a touchdown.
Sorry, wait, what?
I
Run
know.
that back for me. Run that back
I'm
for me.
putting trust into Troy Franklin. Me.
Oh, have you checked the temperature in hell today?
He had an opportunity. He just needs to catch the fucking ball, EJ. I just need him to catch it. He's gonna get open.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. For those of you that don't follow our draft coverage, the inside joke is Brett was not too fond of Troy Franklin.
And I was right, by the way.
Maybe. We'll see.
I also took Javonta at getting at least one touchdown, and then I took Rattler lower than 29.5 passing attempts. Not because I don't think the Saints are going to have to throw. They are going to have to throw. I just don't think they're going to be very good at it, so I don't think they're going to be on the field enough for him to get to 30 attempts. So that is my moonshot of an entry. Again, if we hit all 5, it pays out like $1,500. So that'll cover me for the rest of the year because I never do crazy big entries. Like 25 is usually my max. So that'll cover me for the rest of the year if this somehow hits. But again, I'm putting my faith into Troy Franklin. So probably not. But we'll see.
Just your proximity to Troy Franklin in an entry is yeah, it gives me pause. Let's put it that way. But the rest of it makes sense to me. And even the Troy Franklin part makes sense to me. It's one of those, oh yeah, please use your screen game, Saints, but not too many times because we'd like you to stay under 30 attempts. And if you're any, but I'm with you. I don't think that's what the Saints want to do with a rookie quarterback in his second start. I don't think they want to look down at the end of the night and see 34, 35, 37 pass attempts for Spencer Rattler. If that happens, they didn't do what they wanted to do.
I just threw a link into chat for those who want to tail that. I want to get to a couple super chats here. First one from Shantron for $5 offered a moment of silence for Fatty, and I really do appreciate that, Shantron. That is the reason why we didn't do a stream last week, is because I would not have been able to keep it together through the entire thing, and I really do appreciate that you and everybody else was very understanding of that. But we're back this week. It has been a very hard week, but little by little, it's getting better, and I just appreciate the kindness. So thank you for that, Shantron. Next up, Matthew Wright for $5. I saw that one too. Matthew Wright for $5, toasting to Fatty as well. I need to pour myself a drink before.
Yeah, you knew this was coming, and it was always going to be rough. We really appreciate everybody's grace and kindness. It's as everybody knows, no fun when this happens, and it's probably happened to all of you at one point or another, and it happens to all of us, and you do the best you can to get through it. We did that, and luckily all of you and all of our partners were very graceful with us about taking time, making sure we were set to do the things we needed to do and in our own time. And that's rare in this business. As much as people say, oh yeah, do whatever you need. A couple days later, they're usually knocking at your door saying, hey, get your stuff done. Nobody did that to us. And that just means we're working with the right people, and we can't thank Underdog enough. Blue Wire, Homage, everybody else that we work with, and all of you too, for understanding that this is the way it goes, and we're people too, and we'll get back to it. And we're back to it, and the NFL has graced us with Broncos and Saints. Is that fair language?
I mean, Fatty loved watching really shitty football games, so
maybe it's for him then. I can't think of another good reason.
I like to think that he died so that he wouldn't have to watch this at the same time, because probably a good alternative. Sorry.
Yeah, it's one way. No, it's one way to get out of it. But nah, we're here. We're gonna have some fun on some Thursday night football, and it's not a bad game. It's just a different game. This is not the game I think the NFL really has been working towards building as their average game. They want a lot of scoring. They want a bunch of passing yards. They want, high level quarterback play. The rules reflect all of those things strongly. Let's put it that way. After some of the, I'm just thinking about the Jets game and that, quote unquote, sacking the passer call. The league would like to have veteran quarterbacks lighting it up, throwing for 300 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns each, and have a big air duel because it's exciting. It's good for ratings, and they love it. This is not that game.
Dane B for $20. Thank you very much, Dane. I'm ready for an epic tale, the likes of which was regaled in bootlegs past, such as Broncos versus Colts and Bears versus Commanders Malort edition. We are doing a Malort stream for TNF this year, but it's not until the Bears game.
Yeah,
and I'm based on recent results, I'm kind of terrified of doing a shot every time the Bears score, because now I think they actually will.
Yeah. I admit you're gonna have to adjust. You might have to base it off something a little less frequent, like maybe interceptions or something, because if Shane Waldron continues to adapt, yeah, that could be a very rough night.
Thank you once again, Dane, for the support. Andrew Kessel for $2. I bet no touchdowns in the game, plus 5,000. That's actually not too bad. Considering the teams.
I'm telling you, I'm betting the under, so that's like the extreme under bet, but I could very well.
I'd throw $5 on that.
For sure, at plus 5.
Yeah.
Plus 5K, you bet I'd throw $5 at that. Now, I think someone will score at some point. Which side? Again, if the Saints had all their weapons, I would absolutely bet on them to score a touchdown. They do not. They still have a bunch of weapons, and the Broncos have weapons, but man, points have been extremely hard to come by this year.
Stephen Bonsignore for $10. Brett, I got into scouting this year and fell in love with Bub Means as my sleeper. When he goes off today, remember this comment and long live Bub Dreams, baby. 100+1. EJ, you were a Bub Means guy, weren't you?
I was much like Steven. I liked Bub down the board. This was a stacked wide receiver class, but Bub had a little something. So this is a Pittsburgh wide receiver. Bub Means was tall. We got to see him at Shrine. Had good length. I liked his release game. It wasn't super high level, but you could see that there were a couple of releases that he used pretty well. He's very physical all the way through the catch point, and he had good speed, especially when he got to open it up in a straight line and was able to elevate, get the ball, use that height. Sometimes taller receivers don't play tall. Bub played to his size or above. Very, very tough receiver as well. Physical. So he wasn't in my top, I don't know, probably 20 or 25. I'd have to look back. Might have been right around in the 20 to 25 range. But that's not a backhanded compliment. There are a lot of good wide receivers in this class, and we've seen that already. So it was cool to see him get on the field. Cool to see him play, a little bit of a role as a rookie. Sometimes rookie wide receivers, especially late round draft picks, just don't. They're the, wide receiver 4 or 5. They play special teams. You kind of never see them until year 2 or year 3. So it's cool to see him have a little bit of impact. People were like, who's Bub Means? And we're like, we saw him at Tri-Bowl. We know who Bub Means is. And of course, I think he was fairly well liked in the draft community. A lot of guys I talked to both at Shrine and afterwards were like, yeah, there's something there. I'm not sure what it is, but it's worth a gamble down the board. 4th, 5th round pick. That's about where he went. Like, there you go.
He got open a lot that week. Open a lot. Jack Hunter for £5. Morning both. Would you risk Bub Means over Michael Pittman in PPR? Also, RIP to Fatty. First of all, thank you, Jack, for that. Second of all, that would be the ultimate, put your nuts on the table type play here. I don't think I would do it, just because, again, it's not only are you putting your faith into Bub Means, you're putting your faith into Bub Means against the best corner trio in football. And I know Bears fans are going to say, wait. Yes, Chicago has an argument. But if we're just looking at the sheer amount of man coverage played and how good they are at it, this is the best corner trio in football. and that scares the shit out of me. So personally, for me, I would go Pittman. EJ, feel free to disagree on that if you do, but
I'm not going to disagree. I might have 2 weeks ago, but suddenly the Colts rediscovered the fact that Michael Pittman Jr. is on their roster and, hey, a really good player that they paid a lot of money.
oh,
They started throwing him the ball again.
Sertana's out. I didn't see that Sertana's out.
I heard he was going to be earlier in the week, but that was like a Monday thing, and I didn't check back, so I wasn't sure whether
I mean,
that held or not.
that does change things, but it's not like McMillan and Moss haven't also played spectacularly well. So it still kind of scares me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and you're talking about a rookie wide receiver, and rookie wide receivers, they win. They win on the familiar. I'll put it that way. It's very rare that we see a rookie wide receiver come into the league and start winning in ways that they haven't early in their career. They typically take some time to do that. They take time to develop other routes. They take time to develop timing or physicality or releases that they don't have or ways to separate at the break or whatever else. So if there were ways that they won in college, that's typically sort of what good coaches lean into and say, hey, you're really good at this. We're going to let you do this. We're going to ask you to expand your game, but we're not going to necessarily expect it. And when you come up against good corner matchups, make no mistake, the Broncos corners are very good. That's not the time to be like, throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks. Like, it's do your bread and butter, do the stuff you're really good at. We're going to try and put you in positions to win. If your bub means we're going to try and get you mismatched size wise. We're going to have you try and win at the catch point, and just leverage your physical ability because you've got a bunch of it. But man, good veteran corners. And I know Riley's in his second year. It's tough to call him a veteran corner, but he's been playing like one this season.
Eric Ciliacs for $10. Thank you, Eric. Want to shout out Steichen. He's shown the head coaching trait of making the most out of his team with a bad defense and injuries to his most important players, especially in making the offense suit the quarterback. I would agree. And I think Steichen, we've known Steichen's a great coach since he was in LA, right? When he was, the man responsible for Justin Herbert's, at the time, record season, and Herbert campaigned hard to keep Steichen there, and they didn't. And then he went to Philly and was instrumental in Jalen Hurts' development, and Hurts has not played as well as when he had Steichen. And then he went to Indy, and, with Gardner Minshew last year was literally one play away from making the playoffs. And this year, rolling Flacco off the street again for the second straight year and having a functional offense there too. So, like, Steichen is the fucking man. And if they fix that defense, which I think is more than just a personnel thing, like I think Gus has just kind of run its course there at this point. But if they can get any kind of help from the defense in 2025, and then hopefully, have solid development from ideally a healthy Anthony Richardson for the rest of the way here, like, they could set themselves up for a really, really good run in 2025. Things have kind of got away from them a little bit this year, more than I expected, because of AR getting hurt again and the defense just being so ass. But, like, there's still a lot to like about this Colts team, and they've still mostly held it together under adverse circumstances, and that's all Shane Steichen.
You know who Bradley reminds me of, actually, that is a central figure in this game that we're watching tonight?
Dennis Allen?
Pete Carmichael.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
In terms of coaching arc, right? Very good for a long time, sort of the standard for one way of doing things. Yes, Carmichael's offense, Bradley's defense. And then, like, the league just slowly kind of caught up, just chipped away and chipped away and chipped away, and suddenly there wasn't a lot left, and the bottom fell out, and that's what happened to Carmichael. That's why he's not in New Orleans and he is in Denver. And I think Bradley could have a very similar turn. And I also think that we could see the Colts defense have a similar turn to the New Orleans offense after Pete left and they brought in Kingsbury, or not Kingsbury, but Clint
Kubiak, yeah, the other Kubiak,
the other guy,
yeah.
And all of a sudden we saw this explosion, not exactly the same talent. They obviously invested in the offensive line, which certainly helped, but a lot of the same skill players and wildly different results. And I think with, again, a couple of additions to patch some holes roster wise and a new coaching approach in Indianapolis on the defense, we could see a turnaround next year if that happened pretty quickly. And that should be hopeful notes for Colts fans to hear.
Nicholas Coyote for $2. Hey boys, what do the Seahawks need to get going? Go Hawks. For starters, health. Health would be great. A tackle better than Stone Forsythe.
It would be very nice not to have to play Stone Forsythe. And no, there is no one silver bullet for any particular team, but the amount that Stone is losing and the way he's doing it is wrecking a lot of their offense. That being said, he's not the only problem. I had somebody in a chat the other day say that, Geno's a, dart thrower and blah, blah, like Geno's slipped too. Like some of it you can blame on the offensive line, absolutely, but sometimes in clean pockets he's having bad misses that we didn't see previously, especially not during his hot streak. So this is sort of have the all players meeting in the locker room, sit down and say, hey, we all have to do better. Yes, they have to get healthy. Yes, they have to find a better right tackle. But there are a lot of guys on that team. DK came out and said it. Like, I've been in the vicinity of a bunch of turnovers. Oh, really? That's a nice way of saying I've been involved. Everybody can play a little bit better. And the NFL is such a narrow window to win that you can't have, three guys on each side of the ball making mistakes consistently in a given week and expect to come out with a victory. Like, you need to be more buttoned up than that. And sometimes we see it in teams with penalties. Sometimes it's level of play, but there's enough blame to go around for the Hawks. There's a couple places where you can point to where the dam is just outright leaking, but they're not the only cracks.
McPain train for $2. Hey Brett, Texans Packers, how excited are we? I am nervous, but also excited for this game because it's two really, really good teams. Not to sound too cliche, I think it's just going to come down to turnover margin because both of these quarterbacks can throw absolute haymakers down the field. And it's just whoever ends up with that one extra possession, right? So I would say Jordan Love under pressure has got to stop throwing prayer balls down the field, and we're going to highlight that in the podcast tomorrow about his turnover-worthy plays against the blitz this year because he's tried some throws that he got away with last year, specifically in that end of season run, and he has not gotten away with them this year. And keep in mind, there's been some throws that he hit, like just preposterous throws way down the field that he's hit. But there's been a few picks as well where I'm like, Jordan, it's 1st and 10. Like, what are we doing here? So like he's got to protect the ball. And I'm very fascinated to see if D'Amico Ryans, kind of heats him up with the blitz, considering the Texans are not necessarily a blitz heavy defense. But if that's the one thing that's been working against Jordan Love over the last, few weeks, who knows? They could try that. So from a schematic perspective, I think it's a really interesting game. From a quarterback perspective, I think it's a really interesting game because it's two, young, phenomenally talented quarterbacks with super deep, explosive receiving cores. Like there's a lot to love about this one. So I'm going to be glued to it, but also very, very nervous. Hendog 1000 for $10. Good evening, gentlemen. What's to drink? Ready for Thursday trash ball game. I have some very nice Boulevard Tank 7 beer, 8.5% ABV. It'll be a good night. I have not had that, EJ. Have you?
Yeah, Boulevard's good stuff. Kansas City Brewery. So they make really good stuff. That's their heavy. That's the one that'll knock you around a little bit. I am drinking water for the first half, but I will, depending on how the score of this game goes, I may switch to a Dunkel that is made by Bowie Beer out of Astoria, Oregon. I've got that upstairs. Dunkels are great this time of year, Oktoberfest type style. Good stuff. What do you got to drink?
I have a 2018 Rioja because I am a sucker for Spanish Reds, and I didn't feel like doing whiskey tonight, so I'm doing wine.
There you are.
Kevin Henry for $5. Would you go a whole year without having sex if it guaranteed the Texans/Bears won the Super Bowl?
You want
No.
the funniest answer ever?
What?
Sure. I don't have sex with Brett now. I'll just keep not doing it. And then what do we get? We get a Super Bowl out of it? Come
Hey,
on.
man. Those long nights at the Shrine Bowl gets very cold.
Long cold nights in Dallas. Oh, that's too funny. I think I see fans do these bets all the time, especially with college this year. Like, I'll do terrible thing X to myself if blank team doesn't bet blank team. And it almost guarantees, especially in college, because college is wild week to week, that like, buddy, you put it out there and now you have to, eat dog shit with a spoon. Or
Like
whatever.
that Florida State guy that like deleted his Twitter.
And he hasn't been the only one. Like, people didn't learn from that. People like the very next week were like, oh, and you were just like, why? I never really understood doing that. It's a football game, folks. Like, anything can happen. We can sit here and say, I really don't think there's going to be a lot of scoring. This game could end up being 50-45. We'd be really surprised, but we wouldn't be eating dog shit with a spoon either.
They just ran Drew Brees out of the tunnel, so it's kind of a nice little
They have
reunion
Breeze
all around there.
towels tonight. Yeah, they got Breeze towels tonight. They're celebrating Drew being back in the building, and as well they should. Like, if you talk about players that have a very particular impact at a very particular time, Drew Brees' impact on the Saints is tough to both categorize or ever match. He was incredibly meaningful to that franchise, to that city. It was just sort of the perfect storm of New Orleans betting on him. And a lot of people forget, like, recency bias. Hey, he's a Hall of Famer. What do you mean betting? His shoulder was shredded. Like, that's the whole reason the Chargers let him go. It's the whole reason the Dolphins didn't sign him and the Saints were able to. It was not a sure thing at all. It had a very similar feel to Kirk Cousins heading to Atlanta this year with an Achilles that wasn't fully healed. Everybody was like, yeah, sure, they got Drew Brees, but how much of Drew Brees are they going to get? His shoulder's screwed up, and he's not that big to start with. So even if he has a couple of good years, how long is this really going to last? Well, turns out long enough, to get him into the Hall of Fame, to get a Super Bowl, like all that good stuff. So,
and the timing of it too. Like, there's a lot of young football fans that are, in high school and college right now, and they don't remember Katrina or the 5 years, maybe even more than 5 years after Katrina. Like, it's still not fully like rebuilt. But like the Saints being good during that time was what held that city together.
Incredibly important.
So yeah, Drew's an icon there for a lot of reasons. Nathan Woolley for $5. Did you guys hear about Perna's live stream doing a fundraiser for solving kids cancer? Might pop over there later tonight. You should pop over there later tonight. That is an amazing thing that Perna's doing, and Perna's a great guy. So EJ and I will find a way to contribute to that ourselves. We haven't talked about it yet, but that's one of those things that
we didn't really need to.
Unspoken, like, yes, we will be contributing.
Once
to
we
that.
heard that Perna was doing it and that Underdog kicked in again, our sponsor Brandon is also sponsored by Underdog, and Underdog kicked in $10,000 to kickstart that initiative, battling kids' cancer. Look, Brandon's a great guy. We both know him. He's tremendous. He makes great content. And again, just another sign that we're working with the right partners, that Underdog would say, sure, we think that's a worthy thing to do. Here's a bunch of money to get started. See if you can, double it, triple it, whatever. So we would encourage all of you to drop out for a little bit, run over to Brandon's stream, or run both on 2 devices, whatever. But definitely a worthy cause and a great guy running it. So yes, absolutely hit it.
Craig Pitzinger for $5. Hey guys, how you doing? What are the realistic options for edges for Detroit, and what's the outlook on the defense from now on? The outlook on defense is not super positive because they don't have a pass rush outside of Aiden, and now they don't have Aiden. I would say the realistic trade options, it would probably be Josh Uche, who's in the last year of his deal for New England, who I brought up a couple days ago. Za'Darius Smith is possible, but that will be costlier because of the financials involved for Cleveland. Like, it will cost a higher pick to get Za'Darius Smith to make it worth Cleveland's while. The absolute Hail Mary is like trying to get Max Crosby, but I don't think they're going to be like, I don't think the Raiders want to trade Max. Like, it would cost. Everybody has a price, but
Everything.
Max's price would be
Yeah.
insanely fucking high. Same thing for Myles Garrett. Like, Cleveland's not going to trade Myles Garrett. Like, Cleveland might not even pick up the phone for that one. They'll pick up the phone for Za'Darius. They're not picking up the phone for Myles Garrett. And then I'm trying to think who else might be available. People brought up, trying to pry Keon White away from New England, but that also is not happening.
Good luck.
Yeah.
No.
That would cost a first rounder plus. And then you have to pay Keon White too in a year or 2 years.
There is one good piece of news that you will appreciate, Mr. Coleman.
What's that?
Josh Pascal played okay.
I know. I was really high on him coming out, and he hasn't...
I know. We both were like, hey, this could be the third guy. He doesn't, he might, again, develop and elevate himself to being the second guy eventually, and that would be really good for Detroit. Again, we've been banging this drum for 3 years. Detroit needs another edge. And Pascal hasn't shown a ton in the opportunities he has gotten. He actually looked pretty... Look, he's not Aiden, and nobody's going to be Aiden. I'm not saying he's Aiden, but he played really well. He was quite solid. I was impressed with his play again, somebody you could put in the lineup, somebody Dan Campbell can put in that lineup and say, hey, we need you to do your job and not get beat really badly. So the guys around you that we've invested higher pick in and more money can go hunt now. But if you're falling over and they're just running around your corner every time, the rest of our defense isn't going to work. So we need you to be solid. And he was solid and then some, and I would like to see him continue to develop. That being said, you still need a little more firepower, and it's going to be tough to come by because it's premium position. And if you've got a good young one, teams like Keon, teams are not going to let that guy go. If you've got one in the middle of his career, it's been paid big bucks and is a franchise face like Max Crosby, it's going to be insanely expensive. They're going to make it very, very hard on you, or you're going to get some of those guys whose names have been circulated who are past 30, looking for, one more contract, whose, effectiveness has declined, who really aren't going to move the needle for you all that much anyways. So, cost, maybe you probably just still need another body, but there's no silver bullets. There's no great answers.
All right, first play here. Looks like a 3-by-1 to the field. They rotate down. Again,
they let him go.
Oh, God damn it. I knew I should have done Bo Nix's longest rush over 11.5. I was like, they're going to see so much man tonight, and he's going to be able to scoot. Literally first play that hit. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, totally believable, actually, because Nix is, among other things, people talk extensively about his age and his experience and the fact that he played more college games than just about anybody else. Again, I was at the Oregon Pro Day. Guy is completely built as an athlete and just full of quick twitch. He is really solid, great size, very solidly built, can certainly take punishment, but as an athlete, as a mover, he's got a lot of explosion in there. So it's not just that he's got size and he's going to run you over or whatever. He can change direction really quickly. He's got a lot of get off. When he decides to go, he moves really quickly. And that was always going to be a part of his rookie campaign. I think it's been a bigger part of his rookie campaign than some Broncos fans would like, but he was always going to maximize the run because he is physically able to do it in multiple ways.
All right, 2nd and 8 here. They tried a play-action shot play on first down. The high 7 just wasn't there, so he just took the flat to Franklin. Ooh, a little bit of an interesting pistol look here.
Yeah, he's going to pull it.
All right, so clearly against a team that plays this much man coverage, they want to punish that with quarterback mobility, which traditionally is a way that you do punish man-heavy teams, because you're technically -1 in the run game there. And if you're running a fake split zone and you bluff it with the tight end to become a lead blocker for you out on the edge, like, the math just ain't mathin' there. So So far, Sean Payton kind of has them dialed in a little bit.
Yeah, and he made a great read. Like you're reading the end defender. For folks that aren't familiar with that play, while he's stuffing the running back, the ball at the running back's belly, he's reading his right, the actual left defensive end edge, and he waited a good long time to make sure that that end was pinching down to the inside. And as soon as he did, that's all he needs. Being Bo Nix, he can get around the edge. But this is a miss. I know you would have liked to have this one.
Ah, like this. These are 4 great play calls in a row.
I love the orbit. And
Oh
he just
man, it's right there. He
two
also
guys
he,
there.
he also had Franklin for a touchdown, by the way. So
I know he's got 2 guys there, and he throws it like over one but short of the other. Like he either has to throw it a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, and that's a completion either way. How often do you see that in the NFL? Almost never. That he has 2 guys in line that could catch it, and he throws it perfectly, so neither of them can. That's frustrating.
Well, this drive started out so promising, and the play calls are there.
I was going to say the play calls are pretty good.
Execution, however, a little bit of an issue.
Yep. And I do want to call out Chase Young. He was chasing Bo Nix on that last play. Ooh, I love the Saints fighter pilot helmet. That's awesome. Chase Young was, chasing Bo Nix out of bounds there. And Chase is having a resurgent season. For the past couple of seasons, his name value has been greater than his value on the field. This year, he's kind of back to being scary again. Oh,
God damn it, Bo. Fuck.
Throwing to our boy.
But he had the shallow. He had the shallow to pick it up.
I know.
So much room to run. That was a really not great drive from Bo Nix.
Nope. It was a good drive from the play caller, though. All right, he's got Troutman, and look at his feet when he throws it.
Oh, my God. All right, this is going to be a long night, boys.
I don't love his feet there. Like, I want to see his feet doing something completely different. I said our boy because Adam Troutman is the second player we ever interviewed together as bootleg, even before we were bootleg. First day we were hanging out together at the Senior Bowl 2020. And Adam Troutman was a guy I had on my list. Basically, Brett said, "Who's on your list?" And I was like, Dane Jackson and Adam Troutman, because we'll be able to talk to him. There's not going to be long lines. And I had just watched Dane Jackson's game against West Virginia, and that was an absolute war. Or no, it was UVA. It was UVA and Pitt, because West Virginia Pitt is the backyard brawl or whatever it is. Like, that's a big game. But this is like UVA and Pitt don't have like any history, and they beat the hell out of each other. It's one of the most physical college football games I watched that year. So I wanted to talk to him about that. And then Adam Troutman was fascinating because he was at Dayton. He's a mechanical engineering student. Started there as a quarterback, I believe. And then basically the coach came and said, "Hey, for the good of the team, like, A, you've gotten bigger, and B, we've got another quarterback, but we don't have a tight end. Do you want to play tight end?" And he was just like, all team guy, whatever. Yeah. And he was having he had a great season at Dayton when we got to meet him and got to talk to him. Great guy. I know you ended up meeting his family before the game. They'd all driven down.
Well, not just his family, all his teammates. They all drove 14 hours down from Dayton.
The whole caravan came down to Mobile to see him play. It was super fun. But no, Troutman, really cool guy. And yeah.
Robert E for $10. Hey guys, fun fact: Lamar's on pace for 4K passing and 1K rushing, and I have to ask, if that were to happen, where would y'all rank that all time for a single QB season? Also, let's go Bub Means, baby. 4,000 passing, 1,000 rushing. Has that happened?
I don't know if it's happened, but I would rank it extremely highly.
Like, I'm not even sure if Vic ever did that.
That is very effective quarterbacking. That is a dangerous player at all levels. And who was it? I was watching Logan Paulson, former TE, was on the field for Baltimore. He was on the sidelines for Baltimore, Washington. And he said the thing that really impressed him about Lamar coming in was how much control he had and how well he used it. So he said he's got free reign to change plays in that offense like all the greats do now that he's in the second year of Monken's offense. But you, with all that choice, you still have to choose right. It's kind of like speed, right? We talk about speed getting you to the wrong place just as fast if you don't make the right call, the right choice. Yeah. It's the same thing. Having all that freedom to do anything you want, change the play to whatever at the line, you still have to know what you're looking at and make the right choice. And what Logan Paulson said about Lamar was, you know how many bad plays he's getting them out of? How many times he's making the right call? He said it's like Peyton Manning level Colts stuff. Like that's how often he's taking them out of bad plays and basically sort of maximizing their opportunities just pre-snap. And that is not typically a story you hear about Lamar a lot, and it's one that should be talked about a lot more.
Really nice ball from Rattler here. I think we are in danger of having a very interesting quarterback discussion by the end of this game if Bo Nix gets severely outplayed by Spencer Rattler. There's going to be a lot of people on Twitter with receipts on that one, by the way, because the Rattler hive was not large, but very vocal. Very vocal. So we'll see how he does the rest of the night.
We've talked quite a bit about Bo. I said it just briefly at the top of the broadcast that I think Spencer played pretty darn well last week. A lot of the stuff that didn't work out. Look at this. Oh, don't look at that. Don't look at
that. Okay. Too much dip on the chip there.
Yeah. The escape was great. The decision to uncork that particular throw afterwards was not great. So watch him get away from the defender. This is a great play. He makes this happen. That guy should have him. He rolls out and he cross bodies late across the field. All the adages are true. Late in the play, cross your body back towards the middle of the field. That is an interception waiting to happen. It should have been the defender, looking at the sky right there thinking, oh, I could have had one.
Just tossed it right to him. All right, so
yeah, he did.
Both quarterbacks.
Okay, there we go. That is a very nice bounce back play right there for Rattler. And that's what you want to see from a young quarterback. Because they're going to make mistakes. Young quarterbacks are going to make mistakes. Nix is going to make mistakes. Rattler's going to make mistakes. Caleb's going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. You want to see them come back and say, that's all right. It's kind of the keep shooting thing. But again, make the right choice, the kind of thing we were just talking about with Lamar, but in a much simpler version. Like, make as many right choices as you can. You're going to make some wrong ones, but don't let that stack. Don't make wrong upon wrong upon wrong.
Let's see what kind of punt we get here. Didn't get the bounce they wanted.
All the way.
Tamale 1612 for $5. Shout out to y'all, and shout out to Prime Vision for the All 22 broadcast. Yes, that is what I watch every single week when we do this. I watch the All 22 version of it, and I really hope that eventually, because of Sunday Ticket, that CBS and Fox will follow suit and give us All 22 options. Which is going to be possible through Sunday Ticket, but it seems like CBS and Fox don't want to do that yet for simulcast. But I hope they do eventually because it's so much better. All right,
there's a lot less guessing.
Way less guessing because you can actually see how shit develops.
Yeah, and you can also see the players at the extreme edges of the screen, which they do a better job of framing those up. But as soon as this play goes, you drop vision on the safeties.
Are you on the Prime Vision yourself?
Nope, I'm on the regular.
Just to be a masochist?
No, not to be a masochist. It tends to go slower when I do the All 22.
Oh,
and
it's more
we end up with bigger gaps. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So when I watch regular and you watch All 22, we tend to be pretty close, and that makes for a much better live stream. So I'm willing to take one for the team here.
All right, quarters look against a dirty bunch to the field, dropping down into cover 3.
Oh.
Estime made it happen. I'll tell you what, Estime's impressed me since he got to the NFL. I wasn't a big Estime guy as a prospect.
Oh.
Don't
let Trevor hear you say that.
I know. Trevor loved him, but I was like, he's powerful, but he's so slow. But in the NFL,
he's got really good feet. He's got really good feet for his size, like much better feet than his size
The
belongs.
words for his size are doing heavy lifting there for me. But I think
Ah,
as a role player, as like that
yep.
RB2 hammer type, like yeah, sign me up for that.
Oh, nice. Okay, there you go.
Well, at
Again,
least he can complete a slant.
but he completed a boatload of that at Oregon. So they're like, okay, we drew up some really nice stuff in the opening drive. You didn't hit it. We're gonna draw you some stuff that is the cleanest look you are ever gonna get as an NFL quarterback right there.
And
He's
I
got the
love
clear out.
the clear out
Yeah.
against Demario
Yep.
to then
Yep.
open that up. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, that was a custom made. You are throwing this. It is going to be there. You need to hit it. Oh boy. Oh, and he still got it to him. Okay, that play got messed up three ways from Sunday, and they still got to him.
He really
So
wanted there was a post going back the other way. They were trying to hit the throwback to the post, and it was covered well. So I respect that he didn't try it anyway because that would have got picked off, and he just
that was kind of the Rattler thing from the first drive. Try it anyway. No. And we should mention that the slant that was successful earlier went to Devon Vele, who we talked about in our offseason preview episode. Oh, let's go. Man, still love me some Javonte Williams.
yeah, the man who loves the path of most resistance.
Dude, if you can break tackles like he can, go for it.
All right, 1st and 10 here. Throwing again. They've been really pass heavy
And
so far.
and to the back. Hit Williams right between the 3 and the 3. I'll take it. And that's not something they did a lot with Javonte last year, especially not through the middle of the field. If they threw to him, they threw to him short and to the edges. Really good to see him being used in different ways. This is a little bit of that Pete Carmichael influence, right? That's a Camara route. It's not run as dynamically as Alvin runs it, but that's a Camara route through and through.
All right. Middle field closed again. Oh, we got a little YY wing here.
Uh-oh.
DeMar. No, Orgy. That was Orgy popping through.
Yep.
All name team, by the way.
Yep.
Also, something I noticed on the Prime Vision broadcast is they have these like little dots that show you like the path of motion after motion gets taken. That's really interesting.
Well, that's fun. But yeah, that's Anthony Orgy saying I'm faster than the guy who's supposed to come block me. There was a guy that was slated to get him, didn't get him.
Ooh, we got a one rat look here. Are we gonna take a shot? Nope.
Yeah,
Nope. Got out of it. Run, Bo. Run, Bo.
he's incredibly powerful as a player. Like, yeah.
All right,
Look at
now
Chase Young. Chase Young's like, I don't believe that, man. Like, I had him.
question is if they're gonna take a three. It looks like they're gonna take a three.
Looks like they're more than happy to take 3.
North Carolina or NCLHC for $5. I'm assuming the C is for Seahawk. NC is for North Carolina. LH is for something else. As a UW and Seahawk fan, this Bo Nix hate watch is starting very well. Also, I am so sorry for your loss, Brett. Well, thank you. I very much appreciate that. And thank you for being here again. I see you in the chat every single week, and we appreciate your support. Let's see here. Scroll. Oh, wait. I had more up there. Eric Ciliax for $2. Not going to lie, as a Colts fan, Bo Nix feels a bit familiar. Yeah, there is kind of a Gardner Minshew type element to his game. He's more mobile, but in terms of the yes, 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 oh dear God, no, that is very familiar. I will give you that. I will give you that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, some more just dear God no right off the crack. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? And it's like I can see a path to success, but it is not going to be necessarily quick. Um, and I know a lot of people think, well, if he was going to get there, he would have already, because again, you know, very famously started more games than just about anybody in college. And
Literally anybody in college.
yeah, literally, he holds the record. So it's a lot of people are saying, well, he should have already. But again, the NFL is a different game than college. His development started over again when he made the league. And it starts over again for all players because the NFL is different. The field is different. The speed is different. The level of complexity on offense and defense are quite different. That's what rookies say every year. Oh my God, this playbook is 3 times as thick as anything I've seen. Like, that is a very common refrain. So he is learning how to play in the NFL, not all over again, but just purely like this. That's what being a rookie is. So I can see him getting there. He's got a lot of experience, but boy, he's going to have to. The NFL is a "what have you done for me lately" league, and he's going to have to. He's going to have to hasten his learning a little bit.
JJP for $10. After a long process throughout the year of getting fast foot done, I start college on the 28th for the Dan Patrick School of Sports Broadcasting. So one day I hope to call you guys my peers. Dan Patrick School of Broadcasting. I didn't know that there was a Dan Patrick School of Broadcasting. What university is that at? Hold on.
I don't know.
I'm going to Google that.
Yeah, please do, because I am not familiar. But that's awesome, man. And I hope that you do.
Full Sail University. Oh. Is
There you
Dan
go.
Patrick a Full Sail guy?
I mean, I have no idea.
Hold on. Now
But
I'm Googling.
DP, great guy, legend in this business.
Speaking of Troutman, he went to Dayton.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, Dan Patrick went to Dayton.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Huh. Didn't know that.
I know that's what people come to this stream for is Dan Patrick facts, but
Yeah,
the more
for
you know.
sure. Nah, DP's a legend.
Either way, congrats, JJ. Enjoy your journey. Just remember, freshman year does a number on us all, so don't get discouraged if things seem really hard at first because they're supposed to.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. Again, it's like making the NFL.
Yep.
Everything just got harder. Everything just got cranked up a level.
And it's not even the difficulty of the classes. It's like the difficulty of like when you manage your own schedule and life for the first time, and a lot of 18-year-olds don't know how to do that. Yours truly included. I had a very rough freshman year because I didn't know what to do in terms of, oh, I have all this free time that I can use in the worst possible way. Just don't fall into that trap. All right, Rattler back on the field now.
Oh boy. Broncos defense is very disciplined to the edge. There were a lot of guys headed to shut that run down.
And they're just fast, man. It's a
A
fast defense.
Yeah. You
That's
could tell. As soon as the back cleared the tackle box, he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We're trying
Lot
to
of
get one.
incoming.
We're trying to
A
get
lot
one.
of incoming here. This is not going to go well for me.
All right. Dirty bunch to the field here. God. That's the thing. The Broncos call
Ooh.
these early down fire zones consistently to just get guys into the backfield.
Yep.
And they've
Create
done
stops.
it 3 times now. The Saints have just broken those tackles on 2 out of the 3, but like they're just flying back there. So the first down blitzes will continue until morale improves.
I really think they want to put the ball in Rattler's hands. Like they would they would very much like to see him try and throw it 30 times this game. Oh, there it is. The aforementioned Bub Means.
Let's go.
Dude, it
Bub
was a
means
great
Hive,
catch.
stand up.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of people that liked him, were much higher on him than I was. I liked him, but again, as a down the board option, I don't want to say developmental because I do think he could play as like a 3rd or 4th wide receiver as he is playing as a rookie, but there were people that were higher even on him than that. So great catch. Nice job for Rattler finding him again. They being the Broncos are going to push it into Rattler's hands. That's what they want. Because that's what they want right there.
Is that ball out?
Yes. Now they could rule it a forward pass. We'll see because heck, we saw a tuck rule type situation this week So we'll see what the ruling is, but that's what Denver wants. They want to push the ball into Rattler's hands so they get those opportunities so that he can throw it to them again. Hopefully they catch it. Like that is their preferred game plan. They do not want to be, lining up and getting mauled by the Saints offensive line. Nah, that ball's out.
Well, I got to see if his arm is going forward or not.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Oh, nope, that's a fumble. That's a fumble.
Yeah, he gets his hand banged forward, but he was not in the motion of forward pass. That's Denver's ball. And again, if they can if they can shut the run down with all those early down heavy blitzes and fill gaps and just say, nope, you're not going to be able to lean on this, Rook. You're going to have to throw it. You're going to have to drop back and throw it. And again, because they're very good to the edges against the screen game, so that's not really, you can't do simulated run game that way. So if you take those two things away, the actual run game in the tackle box, the simulated run game through passes to the edge, what's left? It's putting it all on a guy in his second NFL start and saying, go ahead, try and beat us with your arm. And Denver clearly doesn't think he can do that. So he certainly hasn't demonstrated it yet. Again, he's only had one chance to do that. He's in his second NFL start. I think the Denver defense thinks this is our very best chance to win, is to just choke off all the other options and be like, go for it, bud. Drop back and throw it as many times as you can, because we're going to win more of those than you are.
So, again, I don't have a whiteboard set up because I forgot I have to get a second cam link, but just to kind of illustrate why that blitz worked. So they had kind of a dirty, if I recall correctly, they had kind of a dirty bunch, or it was like a 3-by-1 with 3 to the field. And then they kind of walked the will out late during the cadence, and they're bringing 5 as a fire zone, right? And so you have the 3 technique, and the defensive end go inside to get a 2-on-2. Tackle's always going to block the inside threat first and trust that the quarterback can handle the will unblocked. The problem was Rattler was looking out to the right, so he didn't actually see Barton coming off the edge. And if your half slide is going this direction, going to the right, to the tackle, the defensive end, and the mic, if you're sliding to the mic and you got 2-on-2 backside, well, if they bring the third, you're kind of fucked. So great call, again, from Vance Joseph and Jim Leonard, understanding the type of protections that they're going to use in those situations. I kind of like doing that. I kind of like doing it on whiteboard, or on this instead of a whiteboard. I think it actually goes decently well. How about that, EJ? Innovation.
A thing that we tried the very first time that worked. How about them apples?
Sort of, kind
You
of.
like apples? Yeah, I mean, well enough. It illustrates the point, and I do like it. It'll be pretty cool. I think we might have some upgrades there because we learned about some over the summer that I think would be very valuable for you in that particular application. I think it would look really good.
All right, Bo Nix back on the field now.
Jack is cursing my name because he says, I swear, EJ, if Bub Memes has a week like Pitts did a fortnight ago, I'm going to cry because he asked me which receiver to take. I told him to take the other one as usual, and it didn't work out. So he's hoping for some success for Bub Memes, but not a lot.
First of all, it's not Microsoft Paint. It's Photoshop. Thank you very much. But it looks like Microsoft Paint.
Oh,
Lucas Krull getting targets.
Speaking of
it's
tight
TNF.
ends, yeah. So when you got, Crawl on one side and Bub Means on the other, everybody's just celebrating Pittsburgh football success this season.
All right. Let's see here. 2nd and 5. There we go. We have a triple Y wing to the field, and we're running duo out of it.
And we're running Javonte Williams out of it.
That's just a big boy football play there. That's just double teams across the board. Javonte, go find a hole, lower your shoulder.
Yeah.
We're
after just basically setting up a kickoff wedge, and we're going to see if you can get 3 yards behind it. Go.
And that's like when you're running duo out of a triple Y wing, it's like it's an 8-man wall in front of you, and everybody is double teaming, like everybody, and you just say, "Fucking figure it out, go find the hole."
Yep. Just showed the graphic that this is Demario Davis's 200th regular season game, one of 6 active players to have reached 200. So I feel kind of dirty toasting him with water, but Demario Davis is one of the great inside linebackers of our modern time, and way too many people don't know his name or don't appreciate how freaking good he is. And people have been saying for years, oh well, they gotta upgrade, and he just keeps going out and smacking the hell out of people. Everybody's like, oh, he's got limitations, they're going to scheme again. No, he changes the game plan for the offense every single week, still in his 200th regular season game. Great player, Demario Davis.
Man, Javanta's yards after contact in this game, not that he's getting explosives, but he's, you hit him at the 2 and he's getting to the 6.
Yep. If he was a Marvel character, he'd be Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm. So we got 2nd and 3. Nice little drive here so far. I just want to see Bo hit one throw down the field. Just one.
Yeah, it's nice to have McGlinchey back. Makes a difference. Oh, this is battering ram football.
I was going to say play calling here is like, let's settle down now. It's like we tried throwing it 80% of the time in the first 2 drives. Didn't go super well.
Yeah. This is the battering ram portion of tonight's menu.
All right, this is a pass play because I saw Sean say X over, so this is going to be a pass play. So whoever is the X here is probably designed for him. That would be Vele?
Sutton.
Oh.
Didn't hit him.
I think I misread the lips then because there was no over route involved in that.
Well, I'll give you a pass because Sean's play calls famously some of the longest in the league.
Yeah. Brett Vision stream whenever I figure out how to do this in a less janky way.
This is proof of concept, folks.
Yeah.
We fired this up like 5 minutes before the broadcast.
Like, this might work.
Hey, so, you think I could do this? I'm like, I don't know. I think so. Give it a shot. We'll see.
Yeah, why do you think we didn't do a mic check? We're trying to figure out Photoshop.
Oh, don't. Oh, here we go. Slants all day. Battering ram and slants. There's your Franklin catch.
Yeah, but I need Franklin touchdown.
Oh, that's all right. You might get one.
Yeah, we just keep slanting our way down the field.
I was going to say, slants work for touchdowns too. You just have to be in the high red zone.
All right, fast first quarter. Really, we're on pace to finish this game in like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, when they decide to run that much, and the Saints, again, are trying to establish the run to take some of the pressure off Spencer Rattler, but the Broncos aren't letting them. Doesn't matter. Clock still runs. And when both teams are, again, Broncos came out throwing, but then very quickly pivoted and said, nope, we're just going to try and smash the hell out of them. Saints have been trying to run. They haven't really pivoted yet. They haven't had the chance. We'll see what they do in their next drive. But that's gonna chew up a first quarter pretty quickly. Both teams are pretty committed to the run.
Sabafine for $10. R.I.P. to Fatty. Appreciate that very much. I adopted my first cat Sunday. Bootsy Collins seems to be quite happy with me. Question: how much of Dallas' issues are due to poor coaching versus poor GM work, i.e., Jerry Jones?
Oh, we talked about this. Yeah.
Yes.
I talked about this in the podcast that dropped midweek. And Dallas was a late addition to that podcast mostly because of field, not because of record. Like almost all the other teams in that episode were 1-win teams. Dallas is not a 1-win team, but they don't feel particularly hopeful. And it's difficult because they are talented. Now, a lot of their talent is currently on the sideline with injury, but they are talented. Like they've assembled some very good talent, but it's not being maximized, and it does not give you the feeling that they are able to overcome good teams. Now, against bad teams, they can absolutely win. Against evenly matched teams, which is, I would say, lower third teams at this point, the way they're playing, again, not their roster, but the way they're actually playing football, it feels like an ugly push. And you put them against well-run, well-coached teams that are not heavily injured, and they don't ever feel like they're going to be on top of that game. They get behind early, they make up some garbage points late, but it's never really close. You never feel like Dallas is going to, exert their will on that football game. And that's why we threw them in, because it's just like, yeah, they paid Dak, they paid CD. Not really sure what they're going to do with Micah, but does it matter?
Let me put it to you this way. They were in a dogfight with the Giants. They were in a dogfight with the Steelers. The only team that they've handily beat is the Browns, who are arguably the worst team in the league. Them or New England, right? Or I guess Carolina. But they're in the discussion for worst team in the league. That is the only team the Cowboys have handily beat, and that was week 1. And they have looked either horrible or fighting for their life against mid teams ever since. So to me, this is like a 6-win Cowboys team. Maybe 6-win Cowboys team. All right.
We got red zone snaps here.
We got red zone.
Nix with the kill, trying to get it off. He does. Okay, got him into the right play.
Little toss zone there to Javonte. Javante's got like 8 carries already, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to say, again, this, when you're playing with a rookie quarterback, and this therefore goes for both of these teams tonight, that you want to stay ahead of the sticks, right? You do not want to get in the position the Saints have gotten in a couple of times when they've had blitzes through their run gaps and ended up with no gain or -2 on first down. I will take 3 or 4 yards to Williams on the outside toss. Sure, no problem. Second and manageable. Whoop.
We got Mesh.
Uh-oh.
And Bo,
Yeah.
just run at that point.
Okay.
If you're not...
Yeah,
Oh,
he's doing
God.
it. He's going to lower the shoulder. It wasn't not particularly nifty, but he is powerful, and he leaned into that at the end. He was like, okay, I'm not going to... I tried the little pony step. Didn't really work. Okay, I'm just going to hit this guy with everything I got.
Saints did a really nice job of covering that up with cover 2. And mesh is a common call that the Broncos have used in the red zone. And you almost never see the Saints call cover 2. So to me, that was just good game planning from them,
Ooh.
just understanding their opponent.
This is fun. Oh, boy. No. Gotta go.
There's nothing there. Oh, God. Again, Bo shorts it while on the move. That's 3 times tonight. He shorted it while on the move.
I don't love this for multiple reasons. I really like the formation. The coverage was really good. Like, they covered this up. I mean, again, I'm not watching all 22, but like,
no, there was nothing there. There was nothing there. And credit to the offensive line for buying enough time for Troutman to eventually leak open. But for Bo to waste that with a bad throw, that's a gut punch.
And honestly, he should have been moving before that. And now they're just trying to draw him off sides. No, he should have been moving before that. There is that clock that needs to be going off in your head. And yes, great job by the offensive line, not taking anything away from them. That was a tremendous amount of protection, more than they should be expected to give. Bo's got to know at that point. I realize this is going back to the old Nike campaign, right? Bo knows.
Bo doesn't know.
Bo doesn't know. Like, Bo stayed almost 2 ticks too long before he even tried the short up to Troutman. He should have been moving. Like, that was gummy and nobody was breaking loose. And you got to move. You cannot be at your, let's just say, expected launch point that long and expect things to go well.
Jay Beggles for $5. Who has been y'all's steals of the draft? As a Green Bay fan, Evan Williams has been a very nice surprise. Evan Williams has been great this year. I would say
Evan Williams was at the Oregon Pro Day that I went to. Bo Nix's Pro Day,
he was.
And I texted some folks the night before when I do last minute film study before I go to those things just to brush up. usually seen most of the guys, but some of the guys, like Evan Williams, I haven't watched in specific. So I sat down and again, I'm not going to watch film of Bo Nix before I go to the Oregon Pro Day. I've seen Bo for like 6 years. I know what I'm going to get. Troy Franklin, highlighted athlete, see him every week. Like, yeah, you could watch a little bit of film on him, but I went down the list of guys that were on the list that I hadn't seen a lot of. Evan Williams was one of them, and I came away really impressed. And I texted a few people that night before I went to the pro day and said, I don't know, like, yeah, we can talk about all the top guys, and we should. Brandon Dorlus, Franklin, and Nix, and all those guys. Absolutely. Irving, I was a big fan of, but Evan Williams was the guy that came out of that pack. And I was like, man, this is not a dude that people are talking about. He's going to be available in the 4th or 5th round. And I think he's better than a special teamer. Like, he's probably going to start on special teams, but I think this guy could play regular downs on defense within 2 to 3 years, which if you're drafting a guy in the 5th round is a huge value. He has been head and shoulders better than that. Like, he moves really well. He's a very smooth mover, and he has played even better than somebody like me who picked him out of a lineup and liked him ever expected. He has been so far, yeah, probably the steal of the draft for where he was picked and how well he's playing this early.
I would also throw Dominic Pooney into that discussion as well, who was like a 3rd or 4th
Pooney,
round
really
pick.
like.
But, you know, to get an immediate quality starting guard
Fully agree.
out of a mid-round pick, like more than quality starting guard. Tyke Smith has also played really well. Bucky Irving has really exceeded my expectations also for Tampa. Let me kind of going through Jaden Hicks. I know a lot of people have seen massive flashes from Jaden Hicks. Who else we got here? I haven't seen a whole lot from Austin Booker yet.
He's had his flashes. He's not. I think he's so athletic, and he played very well in the preseason. He had a nice chase down a run play from behind against Jacksonville in London last weekend. The athleticism is there. The length is there. You got to see a little bit more. And he's going to have that opportunity, right? I think he's going to get more reps down the stretch opposite Montez Sweat. But, you know, luckily their interiors played pretty well as well. So he hasn't been I think we'd be hearing a lot more negatives about Austin Booker right now if, you know, Javon Dexter and Billings and Walker are not playing really well, but they are playing really well. So Booker can develop, which is kind of nice without a lot of pressure, which is great because he was, you know, a later round pick himself, but wildly physically talented.
All right. Well, the Saints have, to a degree, been outplayed so far, but it's still well within reach here. They just need one good drive from Rattler, and they're right back in this thing.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the under is the winner so far.
I don't even know what the over-under for this game was, but I can't imagine it was like higher than 35.
Yeah. I'm still liking my chances for this pass as they're chewing up the clock. Okay. Oh, free play.
Oh,
Free play.
God.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Oh, no, Spencer, no.
Yeah, that is a very, I hate to say it, that is a very Justin Fieldsian play right there. And Justin,
but
again,
slower.
we talked about this on the podcast. It's slower, but Justin would make a bunch of good plays, a bunch of neutral plays, and he would like save up all the negative plays. And then he would do it all at once like that. He, you know, drop the snap, run into his tackle, get tackled, you know, for a big sack and fumble all in the same play. He just
they got
stack all the terrible things.
Bailed out by an offsides, but
yeah,
Jesus.
No, it was a free play, but that is the worst possible use of a free play ever. Yeah, as an offense, you just kind of got to go, shake it off. Like, just totally forget that ever happened because we have to play football right now. Which is a hard thing to do.
Man, over-under was 37.5.
Oh,
All
again. Oh, but they blew it dead. Did he make contact? I guess he made contact. Oh, Baron Browning's back. Getting into the swing of things. Getting back to cadence again. It's tough. We talked about it. You got to be disciplined. NFL games typically come down to a very small number of plays, and whoever executes better on those plays typically wins. But if you're putting yourself behind the eight ball with, we've seen a lot of teams this week with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 accepted penalties. It's very difficult to win an NFL game when you are basically shooting yourself in the foot that hard.
He would have made $47 on a scoop and score. Oh, man.
Oh boy. Oh,
Let it
what are we getting out of this?
go. Nope. No flag? Did he just trip?
I wonder if they just got tangled up, but Riley Moss was in stride. I don't know what Rattler's excited about. Riley Moss was like hip to hip.
I got to see the replay
right.
and see if he just
Yeah, I want to see the
tripped.
contact. But look at Moss, like,
He can run.
no.
Oh, yeah, no.
buddy.
He touched my hand.
My hand and pulled 3 steps ago. Yeah, nah. He's not getting the Emmy today, folks.
I love it when a professional athlete turns into a fucking baby deer the moment somebody breathes on him. Jesus.
Rattler comes back with a nice completion to the edge, though, for a good little gain. Yes, it's 3rd down, but again, you got to snap back from a disastrous fumble, 3 yards on another offsides, and then, yeah, sure, take the deep shot. Deep shots are low percentage plays anyways. It doesn't work out. You got to come back with something functional. At some point, you got to play some offense, and he did. So, kudos to him for that. It's 3rd and 5. That's, 3rd and manageable. I'm okay with it. Oh, not great.
God, Rattler got crushed there, too.
Yeah.
I think it was Zach Allen that got him.
Yeah. Zach Allen is having a late career surge that is so fun to me.
He's great.
Because
Arizona, boy, they really should not have let him go. And I know there was cap issues, but
he's been so good this year. And it's really cool to see guys, well into their NFL career just suddenly get really, really good. Okay, I got to admit 2 things. One, I had no idea that the Saints punter's name was Hayball.
dude, we saw him at Shrine. Matthew Hayball. He was one of the 2 punters there.
Like I said, I am openly admitting. Not at all.
I know. I'm the one that scouts punters at Shrine. I know.
It's true. It's true.
You're off going to get lunch, and I'm sitting there doing fucking hang time on my phone.
Get lunch. Oh, you wish. Anyways, and 43 is a terrible punter number.
No, aesthetically, it's not. It's not.
That should be outlawed. That's terrible.
Zach Allen's in year 5? I thought he was in like year 7 now.
No.
It's only year 5?
But still, the average NFL career is 3.2 years. So year 5 is well into your NFL career. You're double the average. So I know it doesn't seem like he's some grizzled veteran who's been around for 12 years because he hasn't, but he is well into his NFL career.
Yeah, Arizona shouldn't have let him go. Like, I get it. Money is a thing, but like he was their best if he was there now, he'd easily be their best pass rusher. And I think even at the time, he was probably their best pass rusher because they let him go after Chandler Jones was gone. I think.
Here's where it's going to get gross.
Yeah, he got 3 yards out of it.
Yeah, no, I like the play call, but they being Saints smothered that on defense. They were all over that.
That's the thing is like people don't pay attention to the Saints secondary, but this is one of the very best coverage units in the NFL.
So good.
They still had J.J. Watt his last year in Arizona, which I think was 2 years ago.
Feels like 3.
Yeah, I don't know. Time is a blur.
Oh, yeah. Point. Here we go.
There goes Javonte. Big night for him. Good thing I took the touchdown instead of the over at like 60 yards, which he's probably already at.
Yeah, no, Sean Payton is pretty happy about this. They've been banging away at the middle run, and the Saints missed a gap. Like, that is not supposed to be Honey Badger's play. He makes it, but certainly that's not the way they wanted to draw it up. You do not want your safety being first contact with the running back like 12 yards down the field. Nice blocking on the interior for the Broncos there. Yeah, it's kind of fun to me that even when they're bringing in the other backs, like, again, Esme has a similar skill set. It's not the same, but
He's just a slower version of it. Yeah.
They're just like, damn the torpedoes. That's it. We're just gonna keep hammering until you break. And I can respect it. We'll see if they do, but they just got a nice gain out of it. Javonte, quick breath on the sideline. He's back in.
All right.
Ah, nice. Okay. This is
Again,
what we need to talk about.
The fact that they're doing this with Javonte instead of Jaleel McLaughlin is what's interesting to me.
And I actually kind of love that, but not because I don't like McLaughlin, but I think Javonte Williams is perfectly capable of this kind of stuff and gives you some things that McLaughlin doesn't on the edge. Now McLaughlin gives you some things that Javonte doesn't, but I tend to think generally for keeping drives going, I like Javonte Williams in this game. But my favorite thing is the sequence there, right? Hammer, hammer, hammer through the middle. Saints go, screw you. We're committing basically double A gaps. You're not running, and they screen them. That's play calling feel, right? They're going to get sick of this. We're going to see a bunch of guys coming through the middle. We're going to throw it outside and get some yards.
And the reason why screen is so good, actually, I'll bring up our handy dandy Photoshop here.
Ha.
So the reason why screen is so effective against that kind of look, right? So let's see. TEZ, like that part doesn't matter, right? So let's say we're running like double threes and we're in a double mug look here, right? Let's just pretend it's 4 strong. So if you're Will and your Mike, or in this case it'd be Mike and Will, are mugged up, there's 2 options here that make a screen an attractive thing. Either A, they're both screaming up the middle on a blitz, in which case, again, if you're hitting a screen, you can easily create an alley there. Or B, if they're dropping out, the mechanics of dropping out on a screen means that they're trying to get back into their hook zones while also trying to read it, which means they're not really, like the timing of it, they're not really able to get there in time to get out in front of these blockers and then turn the screen back inside, right? So because of the mechanism of having to get depth from a double A gap look, it means that you don't really have the ability to quickly shut down a screen. If you were already at depth and then you could just plant and go, it costs you like a half second when you're trying to do that. So a screen has always been a great option against a double A gap look. And especially, let's say you're not 4 strong. Another option that people do is if it's a double A gap look, you'll do like a back fast to the flat, because oftentimes what teams do is you still, even if it's a man coverage thing, right, you'll still blitz this and you have a change call, which means the DE has to go out and cover it. And if you get a back on a defensive end on a change call, like that can be really effective. You don't see a whole lot of teams main double A gap looks anymore other than Mike Zimmer, just because teams have kind of figured out the best way to hurt it. And I think Brian Flores is kind of the only one who's really made it work, just because he's fucking Brian Flores. But it's not as common now as it was, a while ago.
Okay. Paulson Adebo is going to get carted off here, which I hate.
That was a Debo that got hurt?
Yep. And they just inflated an air cast around his leg, and they've got the card out. So he's going to be out for this game and probably longer.
Did they show a replay? If not, that means it was probably really bad.
They're going double break here. They went break, came back. They're still working on him. Yeah, it's not great. I don't know what the injury is. Paulson Adebo is part of this secondary, very important part of this secondary that we've been talking about tonight in terms of great size, physicality, very fluid on the outside. Took him about a season to get going. He had some flashes, but really over the next 2 seasons has come on and is now a sort of very solid and counted on piece of that secondary that they can. It's almost like we call it like a pin and post coverage, right? Where, pin and post is pin and pull is a run play. A pin and post on coverage basically says we can stick you over here. We don't need to give you help, and you've got to jam that guy in there. We can rotate coverage around you on the backside. Adebo has the ability to do that, so they can do that to either side. And if he goes down, they lose that ability, or that ability is lessened for them.
He's just a really, really good man corner, and he's really aggressive. Unreal ball skills too. So that's a tough loss any way you slice it. Chat asked, and why are teams not doing screens against the Vikings? A lot of it is because the Vikings don't do the double mug stuff as much as people think. Like, they did it a lot last year. This year, like, they will do it, but I think it's kind of overblown, like how often they line up in double mug. Most often when you see the Vikings, they're not bringing 6, they're bringing 5, and then they play 2 deep fire zones on the back end, whether it's quarters or palms, right? So, and even then, sometimes like they'll drop their edges, and like Van Ginkel, they'll drop Van Ginkel if they're going to bring both linebackers. So they're still bringing 5, but they're dropping their edge. So the Vikings, again, it's different under Flores than it was under Zimmer. I mean, I'm working on a video right now, so it'll be a lot easier to kind of describe it. But they don't, like, Zimmer would either bring 2 or he would bring none. The Vikings only bring 1. So the math is a little bit easier for them.
Vladdy 26 for $4.99. Shoot me straight, guys. Are the Lions Super Bowl aspirations over? No, they're not over. They're just different.
Yeah. Now they got to win shootouts.
Yeah. That's as straight as I can say that. No, they have not lost their ability to continue to beat teams. They're going to have to beat them in a different way. Oh, all right. So you're waiting on that Franklin touchdown. He keeps picking up yards, though.
But Bo is still shorting it. Like, he's still making his receivers work.
Yes, he is. He's making him wait.
Now,
this is against – oh, no, it's not. I was going to say, this is against Lattimore. It's not. It's against zone coverage.
CTOD goes for $2. Having a glass of Breckenridge bourbon, go Broncos. Breckenridge bourbon, very good bourbon, by the way.
Elite stuff. Yep.
Love Breckenridge. One of my favorites.
And CTOD goes. Geez, can't even say it straight. For $20. Today I was listening to Sam and Steve discuss the Broncos-Saints game. Sam said Bo Nix has been Justin Fields-esque in his desire to take off and make a play. Agree or disagree with this statement, and why? I think it's both. I agree in some ways, and we even mentioned it earlier, that's he's not seeing the field as clearly as we would like it. He's taking a bit longer, and that means that's where I agree.
And that's right? Very Justin Fields-ish in that he's not seeing the field, but it's not Justin Fields-ish in the sense that Fields is so much more dynamic as an athlete that when Bo is getting these 14-yard gains, Justin would get 30.
Yeah, and it's the emphasis, right, in saying that he's been Fields-esque in his desire to take off and make a play. The desire is there, but like when it happens, I think is really important. If he was doing like 1 read, 2 read, and just sprinting, that would be one thing. He's going through his reads and taking even longer maybe than we would like him to in the pocket before he takes off, because there's a huge difference between scrambles and design run plays, and there are both in the Broncos game plan right now. Oh, touchdown.
Wide ass open.
Yeah.
I think they caught him in a slant there. I'll have to see the replay, but I think they caught the D-line slanting.
Yeah, they've been pounding away at that interior, and they caught him in one because that was untouched, unopposed. And, you know, good for the Broncos. Their plan's working. If you had told me that your plan was to just hammer the middle of the Saints line with runs and expect that to work, I definitely would have given you a sort of strange glance, but they have made it work.
I did do
So
a
back to
Javonte
Coach.
touchdown on my underdog slip, so that hit. So we're 1 down, 4 to go, folks.
All right, we'll take it. Back to your question, Ghost. Like, I both agree and disagree. It kind of depends on when. They are similar in that they both take a while to read the field and have not been dynamic passing. The whole desire to run thing. Holy cow, did they catch him?
Oh, yeah.
Yo,
DeMario
like
hit the wrong shoulder.
That was a chasm. That is when you call the worst possible play for the defense, and the defense plays it as badly as possible. Like, they get caught out. That there was just nobody there.
And if you catch a defense in a pressure, sometimes they just end up in the wrong place faster, right? It's just
And
you have the right call at the right time. It just happens.
Yep, right call, right time.
Paul McPartland, hey guys, I think you missed my super chat from earlier. I know you probably aren't doing much college tape this time of year, but can I be excited about Eli Holstein yet? Unfortunately, I have nothing for you on that because I have not watched a lick of one Eli Holstein. In fact, I'm not even sure what team he plays for. So let me Google that.
Yep, me neither, not yet. So
he is the quarterback for Pitt. Well, I haven't watched a single Pitt game this year, so that's probably why. Because I've been preoccupied watching marginally better quarterback play with the Pittsburgh NFL team this year. But, you know, by the time we get to December, that's usually when EJ and I start watching these guys because we got to get ready for Shrine Bowl. So check back in like 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks, and I'll probably start having Eli Holstein takes for you. Pretty much the main college teams that I've watched this year are South Carolina just because I like watching their defensive line because they're sick. Georgia, Texas, Alabama, obviously USC, you know, the main culprits there. But I have not seen a Pitt game yet. What about Drew Aller or Shador? Incomplete report cards on both. There's things I like about both. There's things I don't like about both. But I kind of got to dig in and do dedicated
Shador
notes.
I have a more complete picture of than Drew. And Drew is, I think, making more progress this year, if that makes sense. Shador is continuing to do the things which he does very well that he did well last year, and I've seen some growth in terms of some of the big boy throws that he's made. He's made more of those, which is good news. There's no negative about that. Drew, I think, has moved more from the beginning of this year or even the end of last year to where he is now. That to me feels more incomplete. Like, I have a less clear picture of where he is right now because the draft and the draft process is very much a snapshot of where a guy is, because progress isn't linear and guys can have great freshman and sophomore seasons, injuries, drop off, transfer, whatever else. Other guys are very steady in their climb. Drew is a guy that I felt like last year I wasn't going to necessarily be super excited about. Like, if he had come out last year, even if he was eligible, that's not the point. It's like, what's he going to do next year? What's he going to show in growth? And he's shown some things this year. Like, he has shown things that he did not do last year. So I feel like I don't have a good picture of Drew. I do have a pretty good picture of Shador.
Rattler got crunched there on the sideline trying to get a first down. They didn't give it to him. I don't think the Saints are going to go for it here from their own 30. I'd be surprised.
Kind of odd. No,
I mean, they're 4 inches off, but
yeah,
they're gonna.
Oh, now they're calling a timeout.
Oh, maybe they're thinking about it. Echo Warrior for $20. A little early for a draft question, but I'm asking anyways. When a college team has an unexpected hot start like BYU, does that change the way you view those prospects? Not necessarily, honestly.
It doesn't change the way we do, but it definitely changes the way the fans of that team do.
Yeah, because when you're winning, you know, especially like fans of college teams that maybe don't watch as much NFL, like EJ and I watch NFL players all day, every day. So we look at college players within the context of, are they big, fast, and strong like the NFL players that we're used to watching every single week? And it's not necessarily, are they playing for a 6-0 college team, because a 6-0 college team can still produce pretty bad NFL players, right? It's more so if they're going against talent that we do perceive to be NFL talent, like say Ashton Genty, going against Oregon and beating the shit out of Oregon. Got it. Got it.
Watch Fuaga.
Fun play call. But, when Genty's going against like true NFL talent in Oregon and we see him be a man amongst boys, like that to me, like I don't care what Boise's record is, even though they might be a playoff team themselves. It's just about the tape that they put up against guys that we know are going to be in the NFL. So when it comes to BYU and all their players, like, yes, it's a great college team, but we don't necessarily evaluate the tape based on if they're winning games. We evaluate the tape based on traits and just the plays that they make, right? And just how they look as athletes. Like that matters.
That's
too.
a very good way to say it. It's one of the reasons people are often surprised that I don't watch a lot of college games in season. Like I watch college football, I'll be out to dinner or whatever, or I'll sit down if there's a game on at night, it's a big game. I'll watch some of it, but it's very easy to get caught up in narratives, which are not always right in college games. A lot of times those narratives have been pushed all week or whatever, and people are trying to make them happen, whether or not they're actually happening in the game. And that can really color your view of what's occurring and what people are doing. You've all seen it. I don't care if you just watch NFL or just watch college. You've all seen announcers say, oh, it was a great throw right there. And like, it was a low throw behind him that the receiver made a great catch on.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a great throw, right? But the announcer announcing in real time is a very difficult job, and I have a lot of respect for people that do it.
Yeah, we try to do it.
They don't always
Thursday.
say the right thing. Yeah, and they don't always say the right thing, and that can be very distracting. So going back and doing tape study as opposed to watching games with all the rah-rah and the situation or whatever else, I put much less stock in those things, and it served me better. So I don't watch a ton of Rattler with a huge
run.
Game. Yeah, he just kept rolling. I thought, okay, he got his 10. Oh, he got his 15. Oh, he got his 20. Like,
well,
there was nobody out there.
That's what we talked about at the start of the show with these two teams that play so much man coverage. These quarterbacks are going to have running opportunities because if A, the DBs all have their back turned, but B, all the route distributions the other side of the field, it's what we saw with Burrow, right, last week against the Giants. There's just nobody there on that side of the field.
Okay, within 3 plays, Talise Fuaga completely smoked his guy on that short first down pickup, which was key. Again, the guy's leverage was working against him. He was going inside, but Fuaga put him on the ground. And in that one, he got hands on Browning just enough. He was the guy that pushed Browning barely around the backside of Rattler so he could take off in the first place. And it ends up getting them a massive explosive play from the – I don't even want to say the quarterback run game because that was not a quarterback run. That was
scramble.
Scramble. Yeah.
Dane B for $2. Thoughts on Cam Skedebo, who I believe is the ASU running back that leads all of college football in missed tackles force, even over Genty. I have not watched a single ASU game, but every time I go on draft Twitter, people bring him up. So he is one of my first projects because I assume he's going to get some all-star game invite. So EJ and I are going to be seeing him fairly soon. But there's a lot of hype in draft Twitter for him.
Yeah, he's fun. I like him a lot. In terms of, comparatively or trying to say the stuff we're going to say, the stuff I'm going to say, I'll just own this. Wow. That's Broncos defense just mauled that play everywhere the Saints wanted to go. There were 2 white jerseys coming at him. That was gross. In terms of draft takes at this point of the year, mine are going to be, unless we've been watching this guy for 2 or 3 years, which is very rare for me, or he's Ashton Genty. Like I got Ashton Genty takes. But other than that, I'm not going to be able to say comparatively. People are like, oh, where do you have them ranked? I don't have guys ranked yet. I haven't watched everybody. How do you rank people if you don't have them watched? So until, like Brett said, kind of after Thanksgiving, the season's winding down and you're starting to get a better idea of where you're going to concentrate your resources for all the time you're going to have to spend watching draft picks, then I'll start to have takes. But again, I'm going to be adjusting those all the way through, January, February, March. We're going to go to the combine, all the way right up until a couple weeks before the draft. Like when we release rankings, I'm going to be watching guys. I'm going to you get to people late in the process. It's just the thing. You can't watch everybody all at once. And yeah, there are guys that do dedicated, summer study. Again, we're doing our summer preview studies. We're doing NFL study in the summer.
I'm jealous of Trev and Connor though, because they started like 12 months ago.
Oh yeah, no, they've got notebooks
everybody.
full,
Yeah.
and follow those guys. Take those guys. There's a ton of people out there doing great work. And we know a lot of them, but that's not how our time gets allotted. So if you're asking me in late September, early to mid October, like, hey, where's my favorite college wide receiver rank? I don't know. Like, have I seen him play? Yeah, it doesn't mean I haven't seen him play. It means ranking means I've watched everybody play and I've assessed his skills for the NFL against everybody else's. That stuff takes time. Those are not knee-jerk kind of reactions. So you're probably not going to hear me say a lot of definitive things about, oh, that guy's amazing and he's going to go top 5 and whatever, because I don't know that yet, and most people don't either, if they're being honest.
Savvy veteran move by the Saints, attempted but not fallen for by the refs. Well after the play, a Saints offensive lineman, I didn't see who it was, shoved Malcolm Roach, the DT from the Broncos, like way after the play, because the ref's back was turned, and so then Roach came back, and he was completely trying to bait it where the second guy gets flagged. And the refs were like, nah, we're not going to give you that one. It's 4th down. Go to the fucking bench. Like, we're not giving that to you. Victor for $5. Hey, Brett and EJ, thanks for the great content. Going to Lambeau this weekend for Texans Packers. Go Texans. Any recommendations? Go to Culver's. A lot of Wisconsinites swear by Culver's. That is a religion up there. It's like the Wisconsin version of In-N-Out, and I know they'll take that as an insult, but I'm trying to paint the picture like they love Culver's up there. Any Wisconsinites in the chat, please give recommendations for best curds in town. See what else is a Wisconsin thing.
That'll start a fight.
I know. It's a touchy subject. Is there a Wisconsin cheese scene? Like beyond curds, but I'm talking like specialty cheeses that they're known for up there.
Wisconsin's a huge dairy state, so wherever there's a large concentration of dairy farmers, you're going to find, some quality cheese making, and there are many. There are lots of great small family farms in Wisconsin that make amazing cheeses.
It's probably still leaf season up there too. Like if you want to go leafing, there's a lot to do in Wisconsin. I harbor no ill will towards that state. The Millen for $5 with Lassiter and possibly our top 3 linebackers out Sunday. Realistically, how do you see the Texans faring against Love and the Packers? I would say the Packers' run game is going to eat and eat and eat and eat, and I don't think Love's going to actually throw it that much. Like, I don't think their plan is for Love to throw it that much, because the Texans' pass rush is very, very good, and even without Lassiter, their secondary is pretty good too, in my opinion. And not that they want to hide Jordan Love or protect Jordan Love from himself, but this feels like the type of game where Green Bay tries to be 55 to 60% run and just pound it. Keep that pass rush from really affecting the game and affecting Love as a thrower. And then also, I would say trying to keep CJ Stroud off the field. Like if they can do 10-play drives a few different times in this game and just keep CJ off the field, they have a much better chance of winning. So to me, it's not an ideal matchup for Houston. I don't think they win the game. I think it'll be close, but it's if I was going to choose my NFC North opponent for Houston right now, Green Bay would not be it. That's for sure.
Saints lining up for the field goal, and they get it. So we're going to be looking at 13-3 unless the Broncos can put up some quick offense in a 2-minute drill here. Again, 13 is more than I thought the Broncos would probably score in the first half. Again, I didn't think running at the middle of the Saints defensive line was a really, that wouldn't have been my pregame strategy. It absolutely was the Broncos pregame strategy, and it has paid off for them so far.
Echo Warrior says, y'all missed my earlier super chat is because it was draft related. I promise we got to it eventually. We knew it was there. We're just waiting for an opening. Well, we got there. Lancio Stratos for $5. Brett, I want to thank you. Your fantasy sheet has gotten me to 6-0. Well, you've had a lot more luck with it than I have this year because everything I touch dies. So I was one of the people who drafted CMC. I drafted Nico Collins. I drafted, let's see who else. Oh, Tua in multiple redraft leagues. I drafted Tua this year. So not been super awesome for me. I'm in like 13 leagues, and I think my best record is 500 in all of them.
Oy.
Might be 4-2.
Yeah, well, there you go. Launcher Stratos, absolute elite username, by the way.
What's it a reference to?
It's a car.
Oh. Well, how about it? Sounds Italian. Is it Italian?
You got that part right, yes. Launcher is Italian.
Blind and Dumb for $5. Would you do a video on good versus bad offensive play calling? Maybe feature Nate Hackett. How is it possible to be that much worse than everybody else? I would say there's multiple schools of thought because some people say motion good, some people say motion bad. You know, some people put way too much stock into it either way. And I think it's not about, what is the offensive trend that you should be following. It's about tailoring an offense for the skill sets of your players. And the worst offenses are the ones that don't tailor it to the skill sets of their players. It's not about being the most up to date in terms of, what's the trendy motion that the Dolphins or Kyle's doing this year. Like that doesn't matter as much to me. It's about I'll give an example of Shane Waldron early in the year. Maybe don't have DeAndre Carter be a lead blocker for a run on the goal line. It's just about understanding the skill sets and body types of your players and calling shit that makes sense to that. So that is what separates the good from the bad. And Hackett's never really been good at that. Bo again, wrong shoulder. He's making his receivers work way too hard. Way too hard.
I felt way better about it when he let the ball go last year in college. In general,
he was more accurate.
I was way more relaxed when he stepped back. Yeah, a lot. I felt better about it in general. Now I'm cringing when he's throwing the ball because he has not been good tonight. And not just tonight. He hasn't been great for the rest of the season. This isn't suddenly he's not throwing to the right shoulder. He's not leading receivers. He's been short. He's done all that stuff all year. But, man, he just threw a much prettier ball last year. On average, let's just say that. So Broncos making a little bit of noise in 2-minute here, picking up some chunks. They got a nice chunk to Javonte to start off.
EJ, I think
out to midfield. They got a minute left.
I think somebody may be clogging up the old internet there, over at the Snyder residence.
I don't think anybody's here. Hang on, yeah.
See, what people don't know about EJ's lore is he literally lives in the woods, so the internet can be quite spotty sometimes.
Yeah. Indeed, but don't think there's anybody here. I'll have to check at halftime, but
they're still not home?
It's
6:30.
There was a field trip today. There's a field trip today. They went to Microsmurf.
They went to what?
Microsoft.
Oh, gotcha. Bo! No! Bo!
Okay. All right.
Oh, my God.
I would have bet good money he would call
Oh, Bo is. This has been.
Yeah, look,
And
all
this
the
is.
Saints fans in surrender cover. They're just like, what? Okay, oh man, look at his feet.
This is saying a lot, but this is
He
the worst
couldn't
half Bo has
be
played all year.
more wrong. I don't disagree, but I mean, I know Tyron was surprised that that ball came to him, but you gotta catch it, hit him right in the chest. And then they come back and pick it up to Mims.
This game is
Okay.
stupid. This game is
What?
stupid.
Yeah. This game is like somebody flipped every other difficulty setting high and the other one super low. You just like it's like when you set all the switches on draft simulators to completely ludicrous, and then guys that are supposed to go in the 5th go 10th overall, and guys that are supposed to be top 10 picks are available at the top of the 3rd. It's just so confusing. It's worthless.
I just want a Troy Franklin touchdown. Come on now. God, every ball
Did
is
you
short.
not catch that? I know, short, and they're just having to stop and lean and reach out, and not in a good way. Like, yes, I know receivers are supposed to come back to their quarterbacks to the ball, but not every play, folks. It's not the way it works.
Well, once we get to halftime, we'll have
Now,
EJ
should
go
he have caught that?
reset his router. It'll be good for the second half.
Yeah. I hope so.
Well, I mean, we made it 7 weeks without internet issues, so that was nice. Knock on wood.
For sure.
Okay, we have linemen 10 yards down the field, so I'm not sure what the plan was in terms of trying to get a pass off. Hendog 1000 for $5. Brett's fantasy sheet had me near the top of my 12-man league. Then Nico, Achan, and Aaron Jones got hurt, and Shaheed. Jesus. Okay, yes, you're in similar shape to me, bro.
That's brutal.
Yeah, we got Quinn Miners as your deepest receiver. That something went wrong.
Yeah, think.
I think they were trying to throw a screen, and I didn't see the beginning of the replay. I'm shocked his audio is coming through with the slideshow.
So-
That is his feed. All right, 3rd and 7 here. They're in field goal range, but it's a long one. Are they going to call 0? No, it was just one dog. All right.
They blitzed him.
There goes Bo again.
Yeah.
I think he hit the over on carries just in the first half alone. I think his carries over was like 6.5. Matthew Wright for $5. What are the realistic options for the 49ers to improve at right tackle either this season or next? Also, Trent is not getting any younger himself. Yes, the Trent Williams age time bomb is something the 49ers are very aware of. Because not everybody can be Jason Peters and still play when they're 40, right? As for realistic options for the 49ers to improve at right tackle, quality right tackles also are not really available in free agency very often. So they're going to have to figure something out in the draft and try to attack that position probably within the first 2, maybe 3 rounds, but it's not a deep tackle class compared to last year. So there's not going to be that many options for them to do so. I think if they can try to maybe, like, let's say Cleveland's having a fire sale, right? Maybe try to pry Jed Wills away from Cleveland, who I know has had injury issues, but it's still probably a better option than what they have now. Like, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of, like, potentially starting caliber tackles that are going to be available to them other than ones that they can just draft.
All right. I'm going to hop, and I will be back after halftime with a fresh
All right.
beverage.
Robo EJ is going to go fix the internet. In the meantime, if I missed any super chats, guys, please feel free to drop them into chat. And I will get back to those because some of the older super chats did not go through. And that doesn't mean put more money in. That just means post them. I don't want you guys to pay us twice. It's more so when we're on the YouTube stream or when we're streaming on the YouTube side, the chat doesn't scroll all the way back up. So it could be sometimes we just can't see them. So just throw them back in chat, but don't pay us. All right. Well, I have 7 receiving yards from Alvin Kamara after that 1-yard catch. So I need 30 from him in the second half alone. We're on pace for Rattler. We hit Javonta. We're on pace for Nix, even despite his really shitty throws. And then I just need like one fluky touchdown from Troy Franklin, and we're sitting pretty for the night. So like I feel okay about this entry so far. We're not in the best position, but we're not in terrible position. Say about Fiend, old super chat. So Spags defense in 19 to 22 followed the formula of start bad and finish strong. Last 2 years, they've started strong, finished top 5 D last year. What's changed? You know, I would say as far as what's changed, they've drafted really well. Like if you're looking at the product of that Tyreek trade. Ooh, Rattler getting it out. Okay, even more receiving for Kamara. We'll take that. If you're looking at the product of that Tyreek trade, you know, they got McDuffie, they got Snead, Watson. I think they picked up Justin Reed in that same offseason, right? And they've capitalized on getting all that extra draft assets from the Tyreek trade, as well as the money that they didn't spend on Tyreek in order to build that defense. So they were able to keep Chris Jones this whole time. You know, they drafted a bunch of different edges that aren't necessarily dominant edges, but they're good role players. Like George Karlaftis, I think, is a good edge, not like an amazing edge. But again, he was a high pick that you could at least say he's hit because he's not bad. Like I remember when they drafted Tano Passenger that one year, who was just objectively bad. So like Karlaftis is a very good quality starting edge. And I just think the fact that they spent wisely on offense by prioritizing spending on Mahomes and the offensive line, and then, you know, obviously Kelsey too, but then really allocating the rest of their money to the defense and the rest of their picks to the defense to build up a unit that was completely devoid of talent during the Bob Sutton years. Like Sutton was not a good DC in terms of how his defense was structured, but like they also just didn't have talent. Like they had Chris Jones and Chris Jones. Like I truly can't remember any other starters in the bot. Like I guess Dan Sorensen was okay. They didn't have anybody. So as far as why the defense has started strong, they've drafted well. Those guys have been together for years now, so they understand the system. You have continuity in terms of talent, continuity in terms of DC. Oh, that's right, Justin. Yeah, the corpse of Justin Houston was there. You're correct. But it's been a long while since the peak of Justin Houston. I really appreciate the Chargers gift wrapping Tranquil as well. Blame fucking Brandon Staley for that one, because Brandon Staley doesn't believe in paying linebackers. And he and the Rams, you know, he's a former Rams coach himself, but the Rams are also like that too. Like they don't believe in paying linebackers. So Staley was like totally fine with his best linebacker, i.e. Drew Tranquil, walking out the building and then being a really, really good player in Kansas City. And the Rams, same thing. Like they had no interest in paying Ernest Jones, even though Ernest Jones was by far their best linebacker. And they're like, oh yeah, Roseboom can fill in, and he's objectively one of the worst coverage linebackers in the NFL. So I don't understand that mentality of linebacker doesn't matter, but fucking blame Brandon Staley for that one. Marcus Peters, that's right. He was in KC as well. D Ford. Oh, man. Why didn't you go Franklin receiving yards? Honestly, I kind of liked when I was looking at Franklin receiving yards, I didn't think he was going to get more than like 2 catches. And so I figured it's possible that they try to hit him on a slide route in the end zone or a slide route in the low red zone for a touchdown, or he catches a bomb. They did hit him on a slide earlier in this game, but obviously it wasn't anywhere near, it was like at midfield. And he was open for a bomb for a touchdown, but Bo just didn't throw it. So, the process for the pick made sense, and in theory, he should already have that touchdown, but Bo Nix just hasn't been playing well. Jaden Norris, hey Brett, have thoughts on the Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State, and thoughts about the Chiefs drafting him in the 2nd round. He is big, he is tough, he is versatile. Like, they play him at fullback, they play him at Y, they play him at move tight end, they put him in the slot. Like, he is a true do-it-all tight end. And just seeing him up close, like, he's built like an NFL player. Like, when I was standing right next to him at the game, and I was like, fuck, he is big. Like, he is a big, powerful dude. I've only watched like 2 games of him, including that USC game, so I can't like for sure say what my grade on him is going to be, but I was extraordinarily impressed by that performance. We're talking Tyler Warren, EJ, by the way, if you have Tyler Warren takes.
Yeah, he is put together. That's for sure.
Also, your internet seems to be back, so that's good.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you take 2 tweens and tell them to stop running like 4 apps a piece on their phone as soon as they get home and are making dinner and multitasking. And you're like, guys, you turned me into a slideshow. That's all right. They understand, and they're gonna take one for the team so that everybody can see and hear me in fluid, ways that people probably don't want to see and hear me.
Just reminds me of, back in the day where it's where it's like, hey, get off the phone. I'm trying to send a fax.
For sure. No, it's very much the same thing. Like, please don't be pulling on that very small cord. But I got to say, this game is delivered so far. This has been a very interesting game, if not high scoring or high flying. Like, there's been a lot of gamesmanship on both sides. Not necessarily the highest level of play in certain areas, but it has not been a bad game. And for that, I'm very thankful because we have plenty of those every year.
Jason says, my super chat was about Henry. Would he have a chance to finish top 3 in MVP if he ended up with 2,000 yards and around 20 touchdowns? If Derrick Henry gets 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, he's probably winning MVP. Like, truly. Because I don't think there's any quarterback this year that has like insane enough stats that would outdo a 2,000-yard season and 20 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Somebody in the Hellcat is going nuts again outside. I fucking hate that guy. Every single night he leaves the gym across the street, and then he just tries to be as loud as humanly possible as going by all the apartments. Fucking hate him.
Well, I just rewatch Beverly Hills Cop, and you will come up with a way to stymie combustion engines.
Little potato in the exhaust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Con Steve for $2. Brett was right. Cooper is in fact not Quay Walker. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that is true. All right, it's time for our favorite section of the week.
1 second.
We skipped last week. Go ahead.
Let me do one more super chat. Go ahead. Because I know as soon as we do this, it'll flood.
Oh yes.
So I actually have 2 more. One more. So Zachy641 for $5. Headed to Chicago to watch my Pats play the Bears. Any food/activities recommendations? For me, Au Cheval in Chicago, great burger. Get the bacon as well. You'll probably have to make a reservation because it's a popular spot. Not that it's like super hoity-toity, but like it's just a popular spot. But Au Cheval, it's a, French-sounding name, over near the Loop. fucking great burger. Let's see. What can you do in Chicago right now that you will not be frozen for? You could probably still go out on Navy Pier and not freeze to death. I don't think it's that cold yet. You know,
Sure. It really depends. I mean, Chicago and Chicagoland are such a massive area that there is so much to eat, hear, see, do. It really just depends on, like, it's like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go to LA. What should I do?" Like, well, there's lots of all kinds of everything. That's great. The food scene's amazing in Chicago. The music scene is outstanding. If those are things you want to do, that architecture, I don't know. Some folks are really into architecture. It's one of the great architectural American cities. There's a lot to see and do in Chicago, but there's so much that you do kind of have to focus down and go, okay, the things I want to do the most, or the things I want to see the most, are this, and this. And yeah, again, any kind of food you want to get, and there are some regional specialties there that you don't find in equal measure in other places. So yeah, just dial it in. If you got specifics, whether it's particular type of food or particular activity or type of music or whatever, let me know. I'll ask my
make
folks who are
sure
there.
you get the Italian beef.
Oh, for sure.
Like, Italian beef is the most Chicago thing. People think it's deep dish pizza. It's not. Italian beef is the most Chicago thing.
Correct.
I mean, really, yeah, you could do a deep dish pizza if you want to. Like, I really do like Lou Malnati's, but tavern style is the more local favorite.
Accessible for sure. All right, it's time.
It's time.
Because we skipped it last week. It was bad. It's totally time. Our favorite time of the week. Go ahead and type into chat where you are watching from tonight. We love seeing the complete dispersion of NFL fans across the globe. It's amazing. And we get to hit a lot of towns we've been to and towns we want to go to. And it's one of the best times. So go ahead and type it in now.
Delivery truck in the Arizona desert.
Whoa,
oh, just a reasonable, like, 95 degrees. All right, yeah.
Okay, we got a Rochester already. Adelaide, Clemson, Kansas, Green Bay, Sudan. Okay, that's new.
Copenhagen.
Yeah, let's go. Ontario.
Minnesota,
just mailed a bootleg T-shirt to Ontario last week. Austin, very cool. Austin's getting ready for a big weekend. You got F1. You got the Texas Georgia game.
So I was telling you, I was having dinner with Sam Berman from Underdog because he was in town in LA to do some Underdog stuff with, like, Gilbert Arenas and all them. And I was like, oh man, you look exhausted. He's like, oh yeah, I'm on day 6 of a 20-day trip, because he's crisscrossing the country to do a bunch of different events with Underdog creators. And he's going to Austin because there's a creator house in Austin with, like, Nick Ercolano and Jack Settleman for F1 weekend in Georgia, Texas, and everything like that. And I was like, oh, you're going to go to the game? And he's like, I don't know if I could get away with expensing a $1,700 football ticket, but I would like to.
Yeah, our buddy my buddy from high school that I grew up with that Brad now knows, Frank, who lives in Austin, texted me like 2 days ago, and he's like, "You still planning on coming down?" I was like, "No." Did you, like, walk into a pair of tickets? Because I could change my mind. Like, I could absolutely grab a flight. He's like, "I'm going as my buddy's +1 really hard game to get extra tickets to." I was like, "I know."
I bet.
If you had a pair, I would hop on a flight. It would be worth it. And sure, I would go to Style Switch while I was there. Maybe stop by Terry Black's. But yeah.
Portland, Maine. Some people would say is the superior Portland.
No, it's not. I've been to both.
I think it's beautiful there. I love it.
It is gorgeous. I love Portland, Maine. Is it superior to Portland, Oregon? I don't think it is, but that's just
Pacific Northwest supremacy is shining through.
It's not. I grew up in the Northeast. I went to Portland, Maine long before it. Well, that's not true. I went to Portland, Maine about the same time I went to Portland, Oregon as a kid. So Mexico, Mars. Okay. Somebody said the campus library because midterms run my life. Study hard. Vegas, baby. Very nice. Raleigh, North Carolina. Tucson, Gainesville. There you go. State College. EJ is wrong. OG Portland. I love Portland, Maine. I think it's great. Like it, but I don't think it's better than Portland, Oregon. That's fine.
I
I
mean,
like
Portland,
to spend
Oregon has a
time.
better pizza scene, but if you want lobster or seafood in general, Portland, Maine.
Ooh, I wouldn't say seafood in general. I would say lobster 100%, like not even question.
What
That's
what is
that's not
what
even
what does
fair.
Portland, Oregon seafood do better than Portland, Maine seafood? Salmon?
Salmon for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
salmon.
but also uh scallops for the most part, I would say.
Oh, I'm a
Uh
sucker for
crab.
scallops. Fuck.
Yeah, no, I mean Portland's got a great seafood. They're great seafood scene. Lots of great
Yellowstone,
seafood restaurants.
Montana, already
There you go.
snowing.
Oh boy. Taipei, Taiwan at work. Okay, the at work sells it for me. Like, let's go. That's awesome.
Got Buffalo in the
Bravo lobster in
house,
Maine. Yes, indeed.
Pennsylvania.
Buffalo. There you go. Hey, I was born in Pennsylvania.
That's true. That's true. Dublin, Ireland. Oh
Dublin.
my God,
Let's
go to
go.
bed. You don't need to put yourself through this game.
They want to though. Rhinelander, Wisconsin. There you go.
Mainer residing in Charlotte, the food scene here sucks.
Yeah, well, do you like ranch on pizza? Because they do.
Charlotte's like a really interesting town
I would agree.
because it feels kind of like Nashville in the sense that everybody in Charlotte isn't from Charlotte.
Yep.
It's in LA is like that too, right?
Okay, wait a minute. Tacoma, Washington on a boat. Where's it moored? I could
Near your house.
probably hit you with I was gonna say I could probably hit you with several well aimed slingshot shots right about now. Uh,
Shelby TWP, Michigan. Is that in the Upper Peninsula? Shelby?
I don't know where Shelby is.
Dublin
Quebec?
getting an NFL game apparently, as it fucking should.
Yeah, that's
That should have happened years ago.
We're excited about that possibility for sure.
Yeah.
Iowa City, camping outside Brett's house. Oh, you're the guy with the Hellcat. I see.
Vegas is also like that. Half the people here are from somewhere in California. Yes. No. A lot of Californians just moved to Vegas because they didn't want to pay taxes. Or the real estate was cheaper. That was like the main two reasons. But Vegas is just an extension of California now.
Kansas, a house in the middle of nowhere cornfield. That's not particularly descriptive for Kansas. That's 90% of the state, but awesome. Thanks for watching.
I was gonna say you'll have to narrow that down.
Yeah. El Paso, Texas, also at work.
Bethany, Missouri. I think that's over near where fuck. Help me out.
Tuck?
Yes. Well, no, the distillery.
Holiday.
Holiday. Which is
Yeah.
ironic because BJ just sent me a bottle from Holiday. Their Rickhouse Strength.
Oh,
like
yes.
$1.20.
I had that draft. They had just fired that up when I went down, and I was hanging out with BJ Kissel, who runs KCSN, introduced me to their marketing manager, and their marketing manager, of course, was running me through their product line, and he was like, "Have you had the Brick House?" And I was like, "No." And he goes to the bartender. He's like, "Rick House." It's like, "You want rocks?" And I was like, "I think I probably need a rock in that thing," because they were getting big square rock. I was like, "Dude, if it's that hot, like straight up, that's not going to go well."
I was
'cause
gonna
it's, like,
drink it.
my fourth or fifth one, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to need a rock in that."
I was gonna drink it for the stream tonight, and I took one whiff, and I was like, "Oh
Oh,
no,
no.
that's
No,
not
no,
that's
no,
not
no.
a stream whiskey. That is
No.
a I want to forget the world whiskey."
I literally had it as my fourth or fifth on that day. It was the day after the draft ended in Kansas City, so we were all kind of unwinding, and I was not driving, so I was like, "Let's go." And the folks from Holiday who love that distillery. It's one of the most beautiful places I've been anywhere in the country. It's really gorgeous setting, and the staff there amazing. Shout out to them. They're fantastic. They make a great whiskey, but they're also just really, really good people. And yeah, they were just feeding them left and right. They were like, "Have you had this? Have you had this?" I was like, "Okay, okay, I need to eat something here."
All right.
But
Well, uneventful 3-and-out for the Saints to start the second half. What else is new?
yeah, but
Again, if you took the over on 37.5 for this game, shame on
it
you.
was yeah, not gonna work out probably. That was also the same day, strangely enough, that I met Christian Okoye and Neil Smith.
That's right. You did meet Christian Okoye on. I think you met Christian Okoye, or no, you met Will Shields that
Will I
same
met it at
offseason,
Shrine.
right? And then it was Christian. You're just meeting all the Chiefs legends.
Yeah, and no, Christian Okoye and Neil Smith were both there. BJ had told me that Christian Okoye was going to be there on the drive out there. I didn't know, and I was like, I don't fanboy about too many players, but Christian Okoye was an absolute beast when I was growing up, and I was just like, oh my god, and
Oh,
nicest guy. That is a tough run. Speaking of Christian Okoye, in
hell
the
of a
spirit
run.
thereof, yep. No, nice guy, super soft spoken. Um, couldn't have been kinder with his time. And then we were just standing around later, and Christian Okoye does not look the same. He is shorter than I am.
Yeah,
And he
but
weighs
probably
about one. No, he weighs about 180, 180, 185 right now. He's super trim.
he played at 210, maybe.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, just bowling ball
He
of
was
death.
he was yeah, go back and watch Christian Okoye. It wasn't all pads, but he did wear the pads out to here, and he ran over everybody in the league for 3 or 4 years. This is the Schottenheimer Kansas City teams. He ran over everybody. Almost shocking to see him in person again. He was a track athlete. Like, he's always been big and taking care of his body and physical fitness, but he was wearing a polo shirt and jeans, and he's probably about 5'10", about $180. And I was just like, oh my God,
You
that
look
looks
like
a
a
lot less
corner.
imposing. Yeah, no. But again, super nice guy. However, when Neil Smith walked in, I was like, oh shit, that's Neil Smith. Because he still looks the same. He is huge. He is one of the largest framed football players I've seen. Uh-oh, look out.
Oh man, one broken
I
tackle
know.
from being
Jaleel
gone.
knows it too. He's like, one more foot up. If I got one more foot up, that's a score. But this is the first half paying off in the second half for the Broncos. Look at the hole.
And it wasn't even a particularly great block from Cortland, but it's still
No.
like the down
Great
block from the
field.
offensive line.
Yeah, great. field
McGlinchey
from
got
Jaleel,
out there
too.
in space. That was awesome.
Yeah, Jaleel had just the perfect sense of when to cut that back against the grain and then cut it back again, and it made it look that easy. That's really impressive.
Triple Y wing. You
Yeah.
know that run is coming when you're looking at the triple Y and all of them are touching the hip of the guy inside of them because
Yeah.
they're so far away from the ball that they can't, like, that's the only way that they know the snap happens, because they have to look at their target, right? They can't all be looking at the ball because there's a bunch of bodies in between them and the ball. They can't see it. So that's why they're all kind of reaching out and touching each other, is because when the snap happens and the guard goes and the tackle goes, it's literally a chain down the line. And once
Boom,
you
boom,
feel
boom,
that
boom,
first
boom.
movement, your eyes are locked on your target, and then you're going. So yeah, it's like a game of telephone by touch.
Yeah, they've given up 133 yards rushing per game on average. Tonight, they've already given up 150, and we're barely into the third.
I can't believe Bo Nix is going to get away with this game.
He is absolutely going to get away with this game if they keep playing this way.
Yeah, DJ and Bucky always talk about trucks and trailers. This is a trailer game.
Yeah.
Also, Hunter, I saw in chat earlier you said you posted your Malort shot. I will be watching after the stream to see your pennants.
It wasn't you this week. Congratulations.
No, I haven't had to do it in a couple weeks. I'm feeling good.
I bet you are. Oh, how is that not getting flagged?
Well, his eyes were turned.
No, I'm not talking about the DPI. I'm talking about the hold.
Oh.
Yeah, no, before that. Oh, they're not going to show it. Yeah, there was a collaring going on right in front of Bo Nix. No, I don't. I think that's great defense. Alontae Taylor. Not
The
only does he have his
other
head turned, he
other
also
other
makes
Saints player.
contact with the ball. Like that's great. It's obviously very aggressive and in your face defense, but it's hand fighting and you've got your head turned and you made contact with the ball. They're not going to flag you on that. But no. All right. Again, Broncos chipping away with the run game and with 3 more points. While it doesn't feel resounding like a touchdown would have this early in the second half, it does feel like they are asserting their sort of will on this game at this point, and the Saints are going to have to find a way to dig their heels in and stop the slide and then turn it around, and that can be a difficult thing to do.
This Saints team kind of reminds me of the 2013 Texans, where they went 2-0 and then didn't win the rest of the year. They're not as bad as that Texans team,
No.
but everything that could have gone wrong for that Houston team went wrong. And we are a far cry away from the Saints putting up a billion points on the Cowboys and looking amazing.
Yeah, if Olave and Shaheed are not in your receiving core and you know,
And your interior offensive line is hurt, and your
yeah, and
corners
your
are hurt.
starting quarterback's not playing, and
Like,
yeah, your offense is gonna look functionally different, and not better most likely. If it was looking better at this point, it would be an even bigger surprise. Like
yeah.
if Spencer Rattler was lighting it up with backups, and again, sure, it's possible, but I think this is the more predictable result.
I just double checked. Oh, they have lost every game since. So yeah, they're on a 4-game skid. So they actually are
Yep.
following the exact same pattern as the Texans of start 2-0 and then lose every game.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't even do that on purpose.
Well,
Oh
it's kind
man.
of like, the Red Rifle, right? He comes in, all of a sudden, Panthers look really good for a game. Everybody averts their eyes, and then they go on a 3-game slide, and it's like, oh, so regular Andy Dalton.
Okay.
Like, I get a little burst, and then, oh, this is why he doesn't get a starting job, is because, aha. And, look, the rest of the Panthers team certainly isn't there on defense to support him. Uh, so, but again, people are like, haha, see, the Panthers are better. And then they stop watching Panthers football. They come back and they're like, wait, 3-game slide. I thought they fixed it.
It's like, oh, they're
Nope.
worse now. Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
they're kind of the same, just worse on defense, but a little better on offense. But overall, it evens out to about the same.
Who could have thought a Derek Carr led team would stink? That's the thing, is like they're technically not a Derek Carr led team right
Yeah,
now.
I was going to say, if he's going to be on the sideline, yeah. EJ, maybe taking the Broncos kicker would have been good tonight. Yeah. See, everybody loves it when it's good. It's like trick plays. If it works, everybody thinks it's a great idea.
Yeah, but if there's one game that is going to be a field goal fest, it's a Broncos TNF game. Like whether they're good
Very
or
likely.
bad, it's you can set your watch to it.
I was only half kidding when I said you bet on both kickers. I was fully expecting you to go, yeah, I bet on both kickers. What do you think's going to happen tonight?
And I would have
Touchdowns?
hit. I would have
Yeah.
hit.
No, if you'd bet on it, you wouldn't have. I mean, let's be honest.
That's true. Starting hot then falling apart. You can take Derek Carr and Dennis Allen out the Raiders, but you can't take the Raiders out of them. That's good.
Okay, that's a quality comment. That's a quality comment. I appreciate it. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I'm about that run. Like it wasn't pretty, but like make it work, right? Find a way to make a positive gain when it does not look good.
Saldiveri and Adebo out for the game. Well, Adebo we know is going to be out. I didn't see that Saldiveri also got hurt. Which
Yeah.
is God, so how many interior off have they lost their entire interior line? I think they have at this point.
Yeah,
And a backup. I think they've lost 4 guys.
yeah. It's we said this on the podcast. Oh no. Oh no.
That's like
That ball got tipped. And I was
Spencer
like,
Rattler,
oh, he's
like
gonna
that's
catch
just
it.
him looking at Alvin and being like, "Here's a grenade. I'm gonna pull this pin. You take it."
Yeah, here you go. Oh no, that
Good
ball got tipped, and I
luck.
was like, oh, he's still gonna catch it. And I was like, oh, but he has to stand there for an extra second. Oh no. You know,
Oh my
insert
god.
insert charging Broncos defender. Whack.
Here, I'm gonna take this
Oh,
molten ball of metal, hold it over this flame, and then throw it at you. Please catch it.
that's right. And
God,
be happy about it. Oh, Penning just got worked. I assume that's Penning
I think so.
because he did start. He did start tonight. He just got folded. You don't see that very often. It does happen, like to all tackles at some point, but that was not a pretty rep. He's watching that one on the board. Oh, and a penalty. Oh, somebody says poor Adebo. Did we get summary on his injury? I don't. have the
I don't think
sound
we
on.
got official word, but anytime there's an air cast, it's
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Aircast and a cart. Like he's
yeah.
He's
And two
got-
commercial breaks.
he's got a lot of damage for sure.
Yeah, which I didn't even see what happened, but I
No,
assume they
I haven't
didn't
seen
show the
it yet
replay
either.
on purpose. Miles for $5. As a Vikings fan, I'd like to go to jail trying to rip down that Saints 2009 banner at Mercedes cheating
I-
stadium. Thank you.
That's a great comment, Miles. I don't encourage such behavior, but I do encourage the comment. And thank you very much for the $5.
I love that
was,
it's been 15 years.
yeah,
Literally
no.
15 years, and Vikings fans are like still pissed. Still pissed.
Dude, I was in a, and you'll appreciate this because your family is from a small mountain town in Canada. I was in a small mountain town in Canada at a bar, grabbing lunch after having gone, mountain biking in the morning. And there was like 5 of us in there. It was me and my riding buddy and like 3 locals who were not in there together. Like 2 guys sitting at the bar and 1 guy over at the table. And TSN pops on a Montreal Canadiens game from the late 80s. And I swear to God, in unison, within 5 seconds, all 3 of them were like, he fucking kicked it in. He kicked it in. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most Canadian moment ever. Like, it's like name that
so
tune
Canadian.
in 3 notes, right? I swear to God, the game hadn't even started yet. There's like a historical replay, right? And they're doing the warm-ups, and 3 guys turn to the TV randomly and go, he kicked it in. So yeah, sports fans will hold stuff a little bit.
Especially hockey fans. They don't forget
Oh
ever.
yeah, no, 100%. 100%. It was great. I loved it. One of my all-time favorite Canadian moments.
Max Robinson for $10. What's up, boys? Haven't been able to catch the TNF stream because of work, but I got the night off to see this absolute abomination of a football team embarrass themselves. Dennis Allen. Yeah, Dennis Allen I don't think is going to survive the end of this season.
No.
The only way that this was going to work is if Clint Kubiak, when he had a healthy offense, put up so many points that everybody just kind of ignored the Dennis Allen of it all. But now that they're so banged up on offense they can't score, he's got nothing.
Yeah. No, I do not think it is going to be a happy ending for this New Orleans Saints team at the end of this year. They're going to have to get really healthy and get there really fast because they can't overcome the amount of injuries they've had right now, and I don't know if they're going to be able to this season. Again, lots of talent, but if your talent's all on the sideline, doesn't make a huge difference.
And it's not even like let's say they end up with a top 5 draft pick. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to really maximize that pick for the needs that they have. Oh, there goes Bo.
And that's the thing about Bo is like when he picks up speed running the football,
He's
people
quick.
People are very used to like, oh, I can just go near him and that he's going to slide. Or nope. He's just going to keep trucking until you drag him down. He runs very much like a running back. He is not afraid of contact. Again, very solidly built guy. He's just going to, you're not going to see him slide a lot. He's going to just run the football. He's been doing it since high school. And he just keeps doing it. And I think defenders, especially over the last couple of years, like, you don't want to make contact with quarterbacks late. It's a very good way to get a flag. So a lot of defenders kind of just get up and like try and push people down. And Bo Nix is like, that's not going to work. I'm going to run through that. And touchdown.
So I think we're over 200 yards rushing at this point. And for Peyton to come in there on Breeze night and run for 200 plus yards, not even done with the third quarter.
Yeah.
That's a statement right there. Again, Bo has not played well tonight. The Broncos have played well tonight, though. Like everybody else has.
Man, look at Quinn. Man.
Top guard.
Look at Quinn. He's just working and working and working. Without Quinn Miners, that play is not a touchdown.
What's amazing to me is if the Broncos were getting the same level of quarterback play right now as, say, let's see, who's been an average quarterback in the NFL this year? Let's say Kyler.
Yeah.
If the Broncos had Kyler on that team right now,
sure,
4-2.
With that defense, sure.
Which means 5-2 counting tonight. Yeah. Like they would be up there. Because the offensive line's playing well, the defense is amazing. The receivers, I think the receiving core is better than they're given credit for. It's just Bo has not played well.
Yeah. No,
Like,
there's
this is a good
certainly
team.
options. Yeah. I mean, Cortland is not Mr. All Everything anymore, but he certainly is a very effective receiver in a certain role. And I like a bunch of their other receivers as well. I think, again, I think Franklin has a role. Is he, an alpha or even really a number two? I don't think so. Is he a very solid role player that can, run some routes that will open up your offense? Yes, he is. The backs are tremendous. We're seeing that tonight. The offensive line is good enough. It's good to get, McGlinchey back. And if you give them decent quarterback play and assume that the defense stays at its very high level that we talked about on the podcast this week, yep, that is a much better team in terms of wins.
Yeah, and they're not even under 5. They're 3-3 now. They're solid. But I think if you, and this is nothing against Bo, he's a rookie. I get it. Rookies develop. But the team around Bo is good enough that if they had league average quarterback play, they would be really, really, really darn good. Max Robinson for $2. Clint for Prez. I think Saints fans are ready to just promote Clint.
Yeah, I'm interested, as always, whenever someone is prominently from one side of the ball or the other. The big question is, so who's going to run the defense, right, in Clint's case? Or if you're a big defensive guy, great, but who's going to coordinate the offense? Because you need balance. Again, you are starting behind the eight ball if you have one great unit and one unit that just falls off the face of the planet. So, yes, I would love to see Clint with a fully healthy offense doing what he did in the first couple of games, but I want to see that defense continuing to play at a very high level, which they've done this year. But that's not always guaranteed when there's a coaching change.
Eric Suliak for $2. This is the Cowboys-Giants TNF game, but with backups. That's about the strongest insult you can give.
Succinctly put.
Oh, man.
Vele is Peyton's new Colson, or at least 75% of him. Hunter, I agree with you, and he's faster too.
Colson was never a speed guy.
No,
ever.
No, he's all about boxing up and bodying out. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
And he played that game extremely well. I think Vele has more speed to his game and maybe a little less box out, but yes, he's being used in a similar role, and Peyton likes him the same way. So
I'm trying to think, because Saints fans are asking, who's the ideal new head coach if it's not going to be Clint, right?
Uh,
Oh God, Spencer.
okay. He dropped way too deep, like
Yeah.
a step and a half too deep. So his tackles are going to be like, buddy, you gotta cut that off. It reminds me of Mahomes actually in his first year. He dropped too deep. Pat dropped too deep in his first year, and then he stopped doing it. So it's a fixable thing, but like his tackles are going to be like, buddy, he can't go to 11 and a half yards. Like that's not going to help us.
So I know some Saints fans, again, let's say it's not Clint. They throw out Ben Johnson. I don't think Ben Johnson's going to want to go there because he
Probably
wants to
not.
go somewhere that's a little bit more secure in terms of quarterback situation as well as like team financial situation. I could see Vrabel. Depending on how much roster control he gets, you'd have to pry it away from Mickey Loomis. But
Yeah.
I could see Vrabel as an option.
It's certainly a possibility. It's always a balance of, hey, what would you think about Minter?
Jesse Minter?
Yes,
I
Jesse
don't I
Minter.
don't think he would go there. I think Jesse wants to wait for a better job.
I I probably would agree with you, but he's also maybe a year early. So there's that balance of you can start now and we're going to give you your 3-year window anyways. So, do you want to come in and take pieces you've got and take our high pick and start looking for offense or whatever you want to do with it? But like
I, I
Jesse Minter's job with the Chargers, we're not talking about it enough, and we're talking about it more than anybody. Like their defense, depending on which rank for defense you think is the most important, they were 26th, 28th, sometimes 30th. Again, pick your rank. They were between 26th and 30th for all the major ranks for the Chargers defense last year. They were bad. They are now between like second and fifth for most major categories, sometimes sixth. So let's just say the lowest possible positive rank. 28th to sixth
mhm.
in a year, like in an off season.
Oh,
That's
he's an incredible coach.
super impressive.
But I also think because he's an incredible coach, he's going to have options.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, he should be a candidate for Jacksonville. Because then you plop him in with a defense that like has some pieces that he could work
Yeah,
with
for sure.
and has a quarterback and isn't like that far away, but they have to get rid of Bulky. And I think that he
Yeah,
would
I think if he was going to go, if he's going to go to Jacksonville, that would be the caveat. It was the caveat for was it Byron, right?
yeah,
When Byron was going to go back to
get rid of
Leftwich,
Bulky. They wouldn't do it.
he said he made the power play of I'll come, but Bulky goes, and they said no, Bulky stays, and he was like I'm out, like not doing it.
But I think Minter would rather go to Philly. He'd rather go to Jacksonville. He'd rather go to
Boy,
Dallas.
man, your first head coaching gig in Philly is. I know Minter's been some places, but that's a grinder. You got to win. You got to win a certain way, and you got to win right now. There's not going to be any like, oh, it's okay. Like with that roster, you got it. You got to win them right now. So that's a.
Oh, chat
I
says
know
Mike
every
Vrabel
coach.
gives me Philly vibes. Vrabel would actually fit in Philly pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Just because,
I would
like,
agree with that.
what are you gonna do? Talk shit to Mike Vrabel?
Oh, no,
Like-
he's fine with it. Yeah, it's that's pretty interesting. But yeah, so who do we think ends up in New Orleans? Because I agree with you. I do not think this is going to end well, and I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of like, oh, let's just run it back one more year with Dennis Allen. Like, I don't think they've seen what they want to see, injuries or not. People will say that's unfair. It is unfair. The NFL is wildly unfair. There are some bad circumstances that get dropped on people's heads, and if you don't do a ton to counter that, which very few coaches can do, some do, some don't.
can,
There's not a reason to keep you around.
can I throw one out there?
Yeah.
He's coaching in this game.
Mm.
Vance Joseph. He's been kind of
Yeah,
waiting for his next opportunity,
yeah,
and Sean Payton loves him, and Sean's word would carry weight there, right?
yep. No, they would certainly ask for
And
sure if he
and
was in
Peyton
consideration.
already has the successor at DC ready. Like that's why they brought in Jim Leonard was because they.
Ugh.
Oh
There you
God, he
go.
got crushed. But that's why they
Yeah,
brought in Jim Leonard. Is if Vance got poached, they have a DC ready to go.
yeah.
So,
No, the succession plan's there for sure. Um, yeah,
oh man, that's a really big hit. He's lucky his head didn't get slammed off the turf. That's how concussions happen.
oh for sure, especially straight backwards like that. But John Frank Lemire is not a small guy.
No,
He is forceful player.
3rd and 34, just a
Yeah,
casual.
a lot of. Oh my.
Here's your
Uh,
Bub Means catch.
yeah, when he broke the second tackle, I was like, no, no.
Could you fucking
See,
imagine?
Rattler's saying the same thing. No, no. Mm-mm. Second, third, no.
Max
It's only
Robinson for $5.
only fourth and 20.
Reading the look beyond the results quote is easily the top 3 most infuriating Saints moment of my life.
Sorry about that.
Oh man.
Sean French, I threw Vance out earlier. Good for you. Yeah, it is an interesting game to start playing this early in the season, but if you are reading the tea leaves, and they are not that difficult to read right now in New Orleans, short of a pretty miraculous turnaround, and miraculous meaning yes, miracle involved. I don't think this regime survives.
I'd be very surprised if they did.
Yeah.
Eli Harrell for
I mean, how do you
$2.
justify it, right? How do you sell that to your fans? Like, oh yeah, one more year of Dennis Allen. Like, what are you
No,
hoping
they
for?
can't. They can't.
They can't.
Ben Johnson is waiting for Andy to retire. Andy is not retiring
Yeah.
and then having Ben
That's,
Johnson come in. Andy is retiring and then having Matt Nagy take over.
yeah,
If we're being honest.
or Spags, like if Spags wants the gig.
Or Spags. But I think Spags is kind of comfortable. Like, you know.
I I think he's very happy doing what he's doing, and he would be happy with Nagy because they already have a working relationship and have worked together for years. So there would be a lot of comfort there. It'd certainly be a lot less potentially shocking to the system than bringing somebody in from the outside and having to get used to a bunch of new stuff. So yeah, but I could see Spags making a play for the ring. I think he'd actually be a really good head coach.
Taylor says Dion and Shadur to Nola.
No, you don't want
God.
that.
You don't want that.
You don't want that. You think you want that. You don't want that. You
That's
want the
somebody-
first like 16 months of that, and then you don't want that.
Dion and Shadur to Nola is like that first 2 hours when you're with the boys and you're going out in Vegas and you're like, this is fucking awesome. By year 2, that's when you get to 4 a.m. And you're like, why
2
did I
a.m.
do
and
that?
Things are starting to look pretty rough. 4 a.m.'s coming, and it's not pretty.
Dion's a Falcon for life. He's never going to NOLA. I mean, Dion. If NOLA pays Dion, Dion's going. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
He's not just a businessman. He's a businessman. Like,
That's right.
if the money's there,
Business
he's going.
decisions.
Chase Wayrick for $5.
Yeah.
Real question: what is it going to take for the Saints to have any semblance of hope circa 2009? Is the answer an experienced coach or a young guy? You got to hit on quarterback. Like, when's the last time the Saints had an above-average quarterback? And you can't really count Derek Carr because Derek Carr will have these spurts, right, where he looks really good, and then, unfortunately, he will get injured. Like, Derek Carr has always had durability problems. But I'm talking like consistent week in, week out, durable, not even top 5 quarterback play, top 10 quarterback play. When is the last time the Saints had that? It's probably the year they got fucked over by that non-called PI
The
against the
non-call,
like
the absolute
that was the
mugging.
year. That was the
Yeah,
year.
for sure.
And that was 6 years ago?
Yeah.
But that was
I,
it.
no, I mean, if you're gonna have a good franchise in the NFL right now, you need three things. You need a GM who's not totally incompetent, and they have that. I mean, the Saints have drafted pretty darn well. They've had some of the best modern recent drafts in a long time. They have a good player pipeline, so they got that going for them. You need a head coach and you need a quarterback. Like those are the three things you need. If you have those, you can swap a lot of pieces. You can change your approach. You can be, a team that wins with offense, a team that wins with defense. Like if you have those three things, you can rotate a lot of stuff around the center. If you don't have those three things, you're not winning anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you choke off the personnel pipeline by having a bad GM, you will run out of depth. You will run out of money and you will run out of depth. If you have a bad head coach, you will pitch games that you should not be pitching. You will lose games you should win, and that might even just keep you out of playoffs right there. And if you don't have a quarterback, forget about it. Like, yeah, you can game plan all you want. Yes, you can get a win or two out of 2 weeks in your organization, Malik Willis. Can you get 10 of 17? Not so sure that you can. At some point, your quarterback has to make plays, and especially if you make the playoffs, your quarterback
Yeah.
is going to have to make 4 or 5 really just it's on him. He's got to make those plays. And if you don't have that, you're not going anywhere. You need those three things.
Mark Kreutzer for $2. GM candidates for Jacksonville: Ray Agnew, Ian Cunningham? Ian Cunningham is going to get a job.
Yeah, Ian would be my top choice if Jacksonville called me and said, "Hey, what do you want to do?" I would feel safer. A lot of times, Brett, you say, "Oh, I would sleep at night." If I interviewed Ian and felt good about it, which I'm pretty sure I would, I would sleep like a baby if we hired Ian Cunningham if I was Jacksonville.
I feel the same way about Ian Cunningham that I did about Adam Peters for a long time before Adam Peters finally got a job. And Peters was like a known commodity. He could afford to be choosy, and then he finally ended up in Washington, and he had a great draft, and Washington's looking pretty good. But I have similar vibes about Cunningham. Like he's gonna be the guy for sure. We had another one. I thought I missed it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unless it went fast, I don't think you did. Somebody says, less scary. Terry says, Dable tried so hard. You're tied to the ability of that quarterback. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And, we see it. We said, again, some things about Deshaun because those things are true. Like, we said true things about Deshaun Watson. And I actually had somebody come back in my mentions when Amari Cooper got traded and say, Amari Cooper is the main reason that Deshaun Watson looks like shit because Amari Cooper is leading the league in drops. And I was like,
what about the other
that
150
is
passes?
bass backwards reasoning. Like, okay, believe that if you want to, but like Amari Cooper's probably going to look a lot better in Buffalo. Believe me. But people will make up some wild backwards stuff, and you're not going anywhere if you're Cleveland and you have Deshaun Watson at quarterback. You're not going to advance with Daniel Jones at quarterback playing like he's playing now. And people are saying the offense in Cleveland sucks. Stefanski's offense is drawn in crayon. Do you know why it's drawn in crayon right now?
They have to.
He's trying to create something that will work with a zero factor at quarterback. So he's pushing everything down and trying to make it as simple and achievable as possible right now. And they're still not hitting it. And everybody's saying, oh, your offense is crap. If your offense was, I don't know what, more complicated, Deshaun would look better. And I'm like, No, you're the tail's wagging the dog here. You're going the wrong way with this. Amari's the problem. Stefanski's the problem. They're not. Deshaun Watson's playing terrible, historically terrible football. And as a team, it sinks the entire Browns organization right now. All the other talent. Do they have other holes? They absolutely do. We talked about a bunch of those on the podcasts coming out tomorrow, or they came out earlier in the week. It's not the only problem, but it is the problem. And like I said, if you don't have those three things, and again, they have a good GM, who's brought a lot of talent in. They have a coach who has proved in other situations that he is a highly capable NFL coach. They don't have the quarterback, and therefore they're not going anywhere. Like the Browns are going zero, bubkiss, nowhere.
JJ for $2. Preach. Pitt fans still defend Pickett.
Yeah, they will. We talked about this earlier.
Pitt
with the
college
draft,
fans.
right?
Pitt college fans defend Pickett.
Correct.
Pittsburgh NFL fans hate him.
Yeah, probably don't.
Absolutely. To the point where when Kenny Pickett went to a Pitt game this year, he got booed at a Pitt game because it's full of Steelers fans. They're like, we fucking hate that guy.
Oh. Chase Wyrick for $4.99. The Nola no call was brutal. Am I crazy to like Jackson Dart's potential as a Saint if Clint's still around? Not crazy. I can see it working. Like I think Clint could make it work decently well with that. Like there's a lot there to like. Is Jackson Dart a top quarterback prospect? No. Is he capable to come in and run a lot of stuff that Clint likes to run? Yeah, I think he is. Is he the reason you're going to win a bunch of games? Not in the beginning, I don't think. But, is it worth a shot? Yeah, I don't think that's like a huge reach. It's not the first thing I would do, but it's not out of the question at all.
I can do it for $5. Hi, Icon. EP of the program, by the way. Hey, y'all, it's Icon. I wanted to thank you both for making this basketball nerd a football nerd, too. Well, we appreciate you for joining us on the journey. I wish I could be a basketball nerd, but I only have enough space in my brain for one sport. So I watch basketball nerd content on YouTube, and I learned from them, which I imagine is how some people treat our show, is they don't have the time to be a nerd about football, so they watch nerds about football spew nerd stuff like we do.
That's right.
Jimmy High Roller, by the way, is my main basketball nerd channel that I watch because he just makes really fascinating shit about the NBA.
Chase Serrano and Network, 6 trophies. That's a great podcast.
And mostly then for baseball, I love watching John Boy breakdowns.
Yeah.
I love nerdy sports content for the sports that I don't have time to really follow. Thinking basketball is great, correct? Chase Wire for $5. Noah call was brutal. Oh yeah, no, we just did that one. Sorry, overlapping.
And you're correct. Every time we think about it, still brutal. It doesn't get any better.
But no, if you guys have any more suggestions for nerdy sports YouTube channels that are not football, please throw them my way. Especially if you have one for F1. I'm trying to find a good F1 channel.
Do you watch Mark stuff?
Mark who?
Mark Schofield. Our good friend.
Oh,
Mark
that's
Schofield,
right. I forgot
appeared on this very podcast.
Yeah, I forgot he does F1 now.
The fence. He's still a football guy, obviously. Mark played quarterback in college, and he will always love football, but he is also an F1 fan. So that gives us 2 things in common. So I still talk to Mark all the time.
Brett, is the film room merch slowly being added so I can put it on my Christmas list? Yeah, over the last 3 weeks or so, I haven't got around to updating. I have an update to the Steelers merch that I'm working on right now, and then updates to a few others. For obvious reasons, over the last few weeks, I haven't got to implement any more of those updates, but they are coming. I'm trying to get as many done before the holiday season as I can. So ideally, over the next week or so, we'll have a bunch of designs nailed down. What?
That doesn't seem possible.
What?
They just flashed up a graphic that says Javonte Williams' first career game with 2 touchdowns.
Really? in like 4 years. That's surprising.
I like I would have lost money on that, obviously.
Huh?
That's
How about that?
that's wild. That I don't like that at all. Somebody says, "Hell yeah, love Mark." No, Mark's awesome. He's actually been on Bootleg. He's one of our favorite interviews ever. We prepped for like 90 minutes worth of content, very detailed. He got on. We made it about 45 seconds, went the 90 minutes, didn't cover anything on the agenda. And it was awesome. It was tremendous. It was
one
great.
of our favorites.
Loved it. Yeah, love Mark. He's amazing.
Oof, outscored 53-3 in the last 6 quarters.
Yeah,
Jesus.
things have fallen off a bit. I think it's fair to say. Was that means again?
It was.
There you go.
Ooh, hockey psychology is good. Yeah, I like hockey psychology.
Oh, we got not compared, but I guess just lumped in with a listening rotation of BTW today, which is Beneath the Waves. Ooh, bad sack. Talisi Benito.
We suck.
All right, here it is. Nick Benito against Talisi 1-on-1. And guess what? What was the one thing that had me putting Twaga at guard?
Yeah, that was the first time it's happened to him all season.
It is. Strangely enough, much like you and Jaden Daniels throwing over the middle of the field. You're like, I want to see him throw over the middle of the field more. Jaden Daniels throws over the middle of the field. I was like, Elise Fuaga, I want to see him deal with outside speed better. All season long, he has shut down outside speed. He just got. And everybody gets got. This is not an anti-Talisi tirade. He's played really, really well. But Nick got him outside speed.
Also,
and again,
Nick's first step is like insane. So there's that too.
It is. And Rattler dropped fairly deep. Not as deep as he did on the previous play. And he goes down again. This is getting gross.
Yeah, this is starting to become a health
here's
hazard.
At the beginning of the game, I said, I think this is what the Broncos want to do. They want to early down blitz the runs, so the run goes out. They've got great perimeter speed, so you're not throwing little wide receiver screens. You're not throwing tunnel screens. You're not even, really doing wide zone tosses. Like, you're going to have to try and run it between tackles, and we're going to blitz the hell out of you, so you can't do that. That's going to leave you putting the ball in the hands of your rookie quarterback in a drop back pass game. And we think if you do that, we are going to eat your lunch. The last drive is the Broncos having achieved those goals, the Saints being far enough behind, they have to throw, and the Broncos pass rush just pinning their ears back and eating their lunch.
4 sacks tonight for the Broncos, and it honestly feels like more.
Well, just because they got 2.5 on the last drive.
But even then, it feels like they've been in the backfield every play.
Yeah. As soon as they had to go to the pass game and they had no other options, New Orleans was cooked. Like, Rattler's not going to overcome that without his top 2 wide receivers in his second game. Like, that is an irresponsible hope at that point.
Zachy641 for $5. Thank you, Zachy. Where's Bill Belichick landing next year, boys? Anywhere? Dallas, NYG, Philly? I mean, I know he probably... He's not going to go to the Giants because Dable's not going to get fired. I think Shane might get fired before Dable gets fired. Philly, I could see.
I think Philly or Dallas, he would fit in. Somebody had said Jacksonville earlier, and I really don't think he's going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, don't get offended, Jaguars fans. I know you're strong, and I know you love your team. By size, Jacksonville is a small market team. Bill Belichick's not going to a small market team. He's just not.
I think Bill's going to go anywhere that he can get Shula's record at, and he has a better chance of doing that in Philly.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Bill hates Philly. I think Bill will gladly be paid $15 million a year to break Shula's record if it's in Philly. Like, that's why Bill's doing all the media he is this year. Like, he's trying to stay in in everybody's vision because the man wants
He's
to get
doing
back
it.
to coaching.
And he's doing it.
Yep. He's doing the thing that Sean Payton did, where Sean was on FS1 every single week until a job opened up that he wanted.
Yep. Philadelphia. I love it. That's great. I think he'd thrive in Philly. I really do. I think he could make that roster into. I think he might clash with Howie a little bit, which would be the problem. But
Well, it depends on who has roster control, and I don't. Howie's not going to give that up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's. But if Bill is adaptable enough to say, "Hey, there were some things I didn't do so well on the roster. If I let somebody else do those things better, and just like you said, coach the hell out of these guys, a really talented group of dudes, and get paid a bunch of money and break the record. Hell yeah, let's go." And honestly, outside of what looks to be a Washington resurgence, Javonte Williams, I just can I tell you how much this warms my heart, Brett?
He looks all the way back finally.
I know all last year. For those that don't follow our draft work, I was a massive Javonte Williams guy. He's my RB1 that year. I love his game, his style, his ability. Obviously, the injury comes back last year. We all know it takes a while to gain your explosion back. Jaleel McLaughlin has this huge surge. Sean Payton's really fond of him, and Javonte's usage just falls off a table. Like he gets a few carries a game, and I was like, man, this is as long as he's really healthy, which again, we didn't, you can never know whether somebody's fully back from injury. I was like, he's being underused. He is not being underused tonight, folks. He is the reason that they have those points on the board. It has been a tremendous game for him.
As he gets a TFL right as we're praising.
It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
The Saints are finally going to load up and be like, we don't want you to kill all the clock. But, I mean, come on, overall, like that's going to happen to everybody. But, like, he's had a great night. He has been extremely impactful in this game. Difference maker, I would say.
Do not want Belichick in Philly, mainly because he'll bring his merry nitwits with him.
Yeah.
I assume that's a reference to like Matt Patricia.
Yeah, sure is. I can safely say that, and I don't even know who typed it.
Jay says, why are we so bad in every aspect of football? Because all your starters got hurt.
Pretty much
That's the thing. It's like people don't realize that almost every single team in the NFL is very close to being this. If you lose your starting quarterback, your entire interior offensive trio, your top two receivers, you lose a top corner, like everybody is very close to being this. Can you imagine Kansas City with no Mahomes, no Creed, no Trey, no Tooney? They already lost Rasheed, but like also take out Travis and, oh, by the way, no McDuffie. Like the Chiefs would be shit in those circumstances.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and really, if you just take Mahomes out, they would be a lot worse.
It would probably be a lot worse. Yeah.
All right, quick quiz question for you. This is perception versus reality. How many carries do you think Javonte has tonight? No peeking.
16.
12.
Really?
Yep. 6.8 per and 2 touchdowns on 12 touches. Almost
Again,
7 yards a carry.
Feels more than
feels
that.
like way more. It feels like I would have said 15 to 18. Easy. And probably lean towards 18. He has 12. Everyone except for that, basically that last TFL has gone for a chunk. Even if it's inside and he only should have got 2 and he ended up getting 4. That feels like a chunk, right? Gone around the edge. Maybe should have got 6 or 8. Got 12, 15, whatever.
Yeah.
And 12 carries. 6.8 per 2 touches.
Efficiency, baby.
You want to talk about people like, oh, the pass game? Like, it's about explosive plays. If you're getting explosive plays out of the run game, keep running it. It is a safer play statistically than passing the football. If you can get the explosive plays without volume, if you don't have to run it 30 times to get 5 explosive run plays, Hell yeah, run the ball. You only had to run it 12 times with him, and he got 7 per.
Well, just updated. Now he's up to 14, but still.
But
But
still,
and you
and
know
not
what's
many more
crazy?
yards because one of those was the TFL.
Bo's got 10 for 75.
I know it. This is. I'm not gonna. I can't even say that with a straight face.
Just saying.
I was.
It's got,
Is
you
this
know,
a Derrick Henry and Lamar situation? Sorry.
who says you can't spend a 12th overall pick on a running back?
Ooh.
Denver did.
Do, do, do. I
Hey, if
will
people do it
let
for
the
Lamar, I'm
Broncos.
allowed to do it for Bo.
People shouldn't do it for Lamar. They maybe could at this point for Bo. We'll see. Bo's done a whole lot less than Lamar has. Let's be honest. Yeah, 14 for 88, 6.3. Oh well, the TFL dropped him, maybe a half a yard. Okay, per carry.
How good can this Broncos team be? It's literally just about Bo being able to complete a pass down the field.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
just
we
do it
said,
even a little bit.
yeah, we said he had a terrible first half, the worst first half we've seen him play this year, and he can be better. We've seen him be better in college. We haven't really seen him be better in the pros yet, but we know that it's in there. We've seen really good passing games from Bo Nix in his career. We understand that he can do that. So he has to. That's the thing. He's got to find a way to not short hop stuff, not wildly overthrow guys. And again, should have had another pick quite easily tonight. In fact, I'm quite surprised he didn't. But yeah, if you don't have that element, if you're not getting those receivers involved, like this running game is not going to work like this against every defense. I didn't think it was going to work like this against this defense. But, there are defenses they will run up against on their schedule where they're going to have to pass the ball, where people are going to do the exact thing to them that they are doing to the Saints tonight. They're going to blitz them and stop their run and like shut them down and put the ball back in Bo Nix's hands and say, no, you're not going to be able to throw screens. It's either going to have to be dedicated quarterback run game or you're going to have to throw the football. And they're hoping they can get hits on him in the run game and slow him down a little bit that way. And that, again, that he's just not going to be able to. It's the old force him to play quarterback adage, which I hate, but that's exactly going to be the strategy. Let's see if you can beat us with just your arm. And if he can, great. We've seen him do it before, so we know it's possible, but he's going to have to do it at the NFL level. And he's not going to be able to play like he played tonight because he played terribly in the first half. Oh. Somebody said early on in the comments that they wish that A.T. Perry got activated for this game, for the revenge
A.T.
game.
Perry would have caught that.
Yeah, that's true. That's what made me think of it.
Nix's
Yeah,
Will
it
Levis
helps
with
not
quicker
coming.
legs and without the sex tape leak. That's the thing is like, there really hasn't been that big of a difference between Bo Nix and Will Levis this year, and that should be pretty alarming for Broncos fans.
Yeah.
It's certainly alarming for me. Like, I liked Bo Nix at Oregon. I really did. But this has been a really rough rookie year for him so far. Really rough.
It's not going to happen because it's Sean Payton, and probably the Broncos are still going to win too many games for it to happen. But I would like to see Bo Nix not working with Pete Carmichael.
Yeah, but Sean's not going to get rid of Pete.
No, I said that's the preface I started with. This will not occur. Like, certainly not next year, pretty much regardless of anything. But I don't think the Bo Nix Pete Carmichael mesh is necessarily good. Does Bo need to be playing better in any offense? He absolutely does than he did tonight.
Wait.
But again, we've seen that at Oregon.
A.T. Perry's on the Broncos? When did that happen?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah. He got released and they asked him to come back to the practice squad. And he said, nah, I think I can actually play on the 53. So he signed with Denver.
When did that happen?
Week and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
was not paying attention to.
Yeah. No, I'm giving you a pass, but
Yeah.
no. So that would be the sort of, is it a reverse revenge game? Like it's a very early revenge game? I don't
Technically.
know. technically.
Well, they could have used him tonight.
I sure, Bo would have to throw the ball to him though, which we've just spent some time talking about. So yeah, no, the Broncos can be quite good because again they have a running game. It's quite solid. We've seen that tonight. The defense has been tremendous all year. Very, very good. Aggressive defense can largely have its way with most of the offenses that it faces. That is a good place to start. But go right back to got to have a GM, got to have a coach, got to have a quarterback. I'd say yes, pretty much on the first two. Jury's out on the third part yet. We don't know whether Bo's going to be able to do it consistently at the NFL level. He's done it at the college level for sure. He's had put some very nice games together as a Duck. We'll see.
We'll see. Sorry, my headphones.
It's not impossible, but it's also
not
looking awesome right now.
Well, the fact that we still have almost 600 people here in easily the worst dog of a TNF game we've had so far is fairly impressive. And we thank you guys for spending your night with us because
Absolutely.
were it not for you, we would have turned this shit off a while ago. Because this is bad
you are
television.
keeping us honest.
This is bad TV, man.
We will eventually come up against a Thursday night game where we just literally sign off, and there it goes.
I don't know, man. If we didn't sign off early on the Broncos Colts game, I don't know if we ever will.
It's true. That's true. That was a test of patience for sure.
And that wasn't even like entertaining bad. That was infuriating bad.
No, that was horrible. That was please make it stop bad. Yeah.
Girlfriend works third shift, got nothing better to do. Okay,
That's
here's what
probably
you do.
the best endorsement of bootleg football ever.
Here's what you do.
Nothing better to do. I'm just gonna hang out with you guys.
Just go on YouTube and you type in Rams Chiefs Monday Night Football game.
Oh jeez.
And you watch that. Because this is not the same sport.
Yeah. No. Broncos, a little swing play. Flag, we haven't seen, mercifully, we have not seen a ton of flags tonight. Because, boy, after that Jets game,
Oh, yeah. It's 22 accepted penalties, I think, right?
Yeah, it was 22 or 23. It was horrendous. Like, that was so hard to watch in the second half. It was maddening. Like,
well, that means on average, 1 out of every 4 or 5 plays.
Yeah, and in the second half, it was more than that because it was not quite that much in the first half. There were a lot of flags in the first half, typically. I mean, compared to typical, but there weren't that many. Second half, there was a stretch in the second half where it was every other play. It was just flag, 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 flag. And you're just like, come on. Like, you got to let them play a little bit. And, I mean, yes, you can find something on almost every play to flag, but officials typically have been
They say he fumbled?
Yeah. Estimate saying caused by the ground. We're gonna find out.
Gotta see a replay.
Yeah.
Not that it's really gonna affect this game whatsoever, but
they will replay it, but let's take a peek at that. He is wrong. That ball is out of the way down.
That is a fumble.
That is 100% fumble. He would hope that they didn't have replay on that, but that ball got jarred loose.
How do you feel about the new Broncos jerseys, by the way?
I feel here's the thing. I don't think they're a tremendous improvement, but I don't think they're bad.
To me, my only issue with them is they look very generic.
Yes, and a lot of people have said that they look like AI generated uniforms or something like that. A lot of times when there's a new uniform, I think people have a strong opinion about it. It's either really good or really bad or really plain or whatever. I don't have strong opinions about it. I think they're fine. Like they're not the same, but I don't think they're terrible. And it's a little odd for me because usually when come on, the Jaguars half fade unis or when the Falcons try to do it or whatever.
The gradient, yeah.
It was terrible. Like it looked so bad. I was like, how did that ever get approved? Here I'm looking at this going, yeah, it's a refresh. They're gonna sell more of them because they're the new ones. The color scheme still fine. Got nothing wrong with navy and orange, man. Not me.
To
Couldn't
me,
be
it
me.
just there's this trend with uniform design where
Yeah,
every team tries to be like clean, right? Everything's got to be
yeah,
clean, and
yeah.
this is like so clean.
It's
It's
just
almost
antiseptic. Yeah,
yeah. It's like
yeah.
serial killer trying to sanitize the bathroom where he murdered 3 people. Like it doesn't need to be that clean, right?
So my hotel room that I stayed in Stockton, that one.
Yeah, where you're like somebody definitely died here.
Yeah. I wasn't sure they died. They were definitely grievously injured.
Me and
I'm
my
not sure they
wife.
died.
So my wife is in Louisville right now, and
Oh, okay.
there was one year where I also went to Louisville with her the same week because she does like a trade show every year there.
Oh
And
man, great play by. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna give it to the rookie here. He's grinding it out in garbage time. He's down by 23. You just stiff armed a defender into the ground for like a 2 yard gain. You're getting credit for that, Spencer. Like, good work. Okay,
so
Louisville.
we're out in Louisville, and the night before we fly home, we stay at a
Oh
Red Roof
no!
Inn.
Oh no!
Did he just fumble?
Yep, he sure did. He did it again. Okay, he's got to get better about that. Like, nothing's happening. He needs to understand that there are just plays. You got to cut your losses. Just go down and protect the football. Instead, he tried to throw it away. It pops straight up. Cody Barton grabs it, and that's that.
The second return that Barton's had tonight. This one actually stuck though.
Yeah, Cody's like, I could have had 2 touchdowns tonight. No, this is bad to worse. And I realize you're trying to make a play, but this isn't that. He needs to understand the percentage of anything good happening here is so low. He's just got to get that ball down. Like that guy was covered that he was throwing to.
God, Jaquan got there so fast.
Yeah.
That's the thing is this team will blitz you and blitz you and blitz you and blitz you. And if you're a young quarterback and you don't know how to handle it, like this is what's going to happen.
And again, this is what they wanted. This is what the Broncos wanted from the beginning was like, get the ball in Rattler's hands because we are going to eat him alive. We are going to destroy him. And now that there's no other choice, you're down by a bunch. It's late. Like this is his baptism by fire of like, sometimes it's just not going to be your day. Try and make it not your worst day.
Baptism by lava at this point.
Yeah. No, he just got dropped in Mount Doom for sure. Like this is, yeah, he's swimming in the deep end, and yes, the pool is made of lava.
Somebody in chat asked if I have a SeatGeek code. I do. Hold on, let me find it.
It does exist. I know because we've used it. We used it to go to Dallas last year.
So my SeatGeek code is. I'm assuming this still works. It's code Brett BRETT. It should still give you $20 off tickets on
Let's
SeatGeek.
hope. Let's hope. You know what's weird? I was looking for tickets to a college football game, which is at this point not even 3 full weeks away, like 2.5 weeks away. And the time is still TBD.
Oh yeah, that's what pisses me off about college football is they don't tell you when the game's going to be until like 10 days before.
I know. I'm like, don't people have lives? This is kind of crazy.
It's
like
because they're trying to figure out like where's game day going to be, what's going to be
I
Big Noon
understand.
Saturday. Like every
And this
weekend
is
is a flex week.
right. And this is not necessarily one of those games. I would say it's kind of a mid-major, mid-important game. Like
It's Q's
I was
and
just
who?
like, hey, this one is I was looking for tickets for Virginia Tech versus Syracuse at Syracuse.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
it'll be fun.
a big game in the conference, maybe, but like nationally, like there's not a this is not a like super important game. And I was like, surely they're going to have a time established by now.
I'll
Nope.
bet you anything. It's like 12:30.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, feels like it. which would actually work for me because I might be going west for an NFL game the next day.
Oh, you're trying to back to back it?
I was not actually. I legit was just going to go for that game. And then somebody we both know reached out and said, hey, if you are going to do that, just saying, there might be a couple of tickets for you. Oh, look at it, boy. Look at a boy.
He wants his dinner, so I'm hoping that
Oh, yeah.
they end our misery.
The fuzzy nephew is like, feed me.
He's very hungry.
I trust
We'll
me.
get there. We'll get there, bud.
I'm kind of right there with him. I had a sandwich at like 1 o'clock, and now I'm kind of hungry too.
I made for lunch some
Ooh,
homemade
what'd you make?
pesto with some cheese
Oh, very
tortellini.
nice.
A little fried up some prosciutto. Put that in there too. It's delicious.
Oh, tasty. I thought I was doing well. I had a Monte Cristo.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
No, Monte Cristo, great sandwich. Super good.
Oh, Brett, finish your Louisville story. Right. So we were in Louisville.
Yes. Somebody died. We need to know.
Well, that's the thing. So we stayed in a Red Roof Inn in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know if you've ever stayed in a Red Roof Inn.
I have.
Uh,
Actually, not in Louisville, but same
this
deal.
was a horror movie type hotel.
This was an experience. Okay. Yeah.
Door wouldn't even close. We had to barricade the door. It was the only room they had available, and it wouldn't close. The shower was so dirty, we thought we would get dirtier by taking a shower. And we dared not go under the blanket. So we slept on top of the blanket in our clothes, didn't take a shower, had to barricade the door, and then didn't sleep a wink, woke up at like 3 a.m. and got the fuck out of Louisville, Kentucky. And I love Kentucky. I really do. Lexington, I had a blast. But that Red Roof Inn, again, dangerous, dangerous hotel. Yes, I know.
I've
bud.
had much
We'll
better
get to it in a
luck
second.
at Red Roofs, and I've not stayed in a Red Roof in a while. I'd say it's probably been 7 or 8 years since I stayed in a Red Roof, but I very clean, nice rooms, the ones I stayed in. However, won't name the chain that I stayed in while driving down to your house, but it was in Stockton, and you know those movies where the prisoner gets walked down the mile the first time, and there's a second story and everybody's hanging out up on the upper bars, like banging. That's how it was when I got there. It's a 2-story. It was a Friday night, right? People literally lining the upper balcony, just like ding, ding, ding. I was like, oh, this will be a good time. I'm not going outside.
So that's why you started your drive the next morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Oh no, earlier. Yeah. And strangely, the weird part was, so when I pulled in, it was 9-something, 9:30, 9:45 at night, something like that. On a Friday night, again, place is packed. There are cars coming and going all night, doing all manners or whatever. Parking lot's full when I get there. There's like 2 spots. I get the second to last spot in the parking lot. When I got up to get out of there at like 5:30, packed all my crap, tossed my key in, like 2 cars in the parking lot.
Of course.
Me and one other car.
Everybody got the hell out of Dodge. See, your
Stayed
first
up till
mistake, and
4.
I told you this that same night, your first mistake was staying in Stockton.
I'm not here to besmirch Stockton, California, but that was an
Dude,
experience.
even people from Stockton will besmirch Stockton.
Right, but they live there. They can do that. They have that right. I'm gonna let that go. But no, would not be staying there again. And the hotel I got in Reading on the way home, just because difference in drive time and whatever else, was actually really awesome. Really cool place.
Well, this game is
33-3.
Still going.
Yes. 33-3.
We do have a commitment to stay till the end of it.
It's true.
This one's testing it.
It is. If somebody could tell us what the actual under was, because 33 is
the under was 37.5, so we are still under right now.
Oh,
and that's with the Broncos almost entirely getting the entire thing by themselves.
I understand, but that is, this is setting up for a bad beat if we're literally half a point. Like Saints kick meaningless field goal, bettors everywhere in
Dude,
rage.
if the Saints march down there and kick a 3, like I would be sick to my stomach.
Rattler he's hearing you right now. Oh, he stayed in bounds though. He's trying to
Yeah,
end it.
he's like, let's just get the fuck out of
He's
here,
like,
guys.
he wants less hits. Spencer Rattler's like, I don't want to get hit again. I'm already limping, and man, does this hurt. Let's make this less.
Brett, you never shared your chimichurri recipe. Okay, so I did a jalapeno Lagavulin 16 chimichurri.
Yo,
So, oh god, what did I
okay.
use in it besides jalapeno? But I remember like I had olive oil in there, Lagavulin 16, jalapeno. Fuck, what were the herbs? I gotta find it. I wrote it down somewhere. But that shit
Yeah,
was good.
share that one on Twitter. I'd try that.
I put it with a really nice like cast iron sear, or I did a reverse sear of a New York strip in cast iron, and then did the jalapeno Lagavulin chimichurri, and it was sick. God, I might do steak tomorrow night. Nikki's not coming home until Saturday. I might do a solo steak night for me.
There you go. I mean, you and Little, of course.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah,
he would never. He would never let me live it down if I didn't give him any.
he would not tolerate that. No, absolutely not.
I'll tell you what though, he's weird. He only likes chicken, but he doesn't.
Really?
But like just normal boiled chicken, he's not even a fan of that. It has to specifically be covered in Royal Canin glycobalance gravy, or he just won't eat it. Like his blood sugar, and again, he's very diabetic.
That is odd.
His blood sugar dipped low, so I tried to like put a little bit of honey into his mouth to give him some. He just like wouldn't take honey, wouldn't take any. Like just give me chicken smothered in gravy.
Oh. Okay, that's not a bad pass from Spencer Rattler under the situation.
It was a good throw.
Again, if you have one of your top two receivers, like maybe Olave catches that. So when you're looking back at this game and going, oh, he took a bunch of sacks and you didn't score any touchdowns and whatever else, like don't necessarily look at the stats. Like he's trying to do, oh, that's Rattler on the sideline. Is this Hayner?
I think he got a hit pointer.
Probably. Yeah. He was limping pretty good. Okay. They came right back the same play, and guess what? He caught it this time.
just get completions. Just get the hell out.
Yeah,
of
here it is. This is. Oh yeah, he came down. Oh yep, came down right on top of his helmet.
That'll do it.
Oh yeah,
that'll do it.
All right. So yes, Jake Hayner, who we also like. Yeah, and Rattler's night should probably be done at this point, anyways. He's taken a lot of punishment, but no, Hayner's got a lot of accuracy, short to mid. He's not necessarily the best deep ball thrower. Did Hayner cross with our editor?
No. After.
Just missed?
Yeah, Hayner was after him.
Yeah, by like a year.
So people don't know. So one of our editors, Anthony, was a wide receiver at Fresno State. But he was in the generation. So he crossed over, I think, with God, who was the kid who went to Dallas? Who was at the Shrine Bowl? But he crossed over with him, and he got out right before Nico Remigio.
Yep.
And he was there after Devontae, even though he knows Devontae.
Yeah.
Because Devontae always came around the program and everything like that.
I didn't know that. I was not aware of that.
Devontae always went around to Fresno State receivers and
that's cool.
Kind of imparted wisdom on them. But no, he was in that kind of like in between era. But that's why it's great to have an editor that also played high level college football, because it just makes it way easier.
Yes, it does.
You don't have to explain anything to him. He just gets it.
Yeah, we love our editors. They're awesome. All right. Somebody earlier in the game said, I think the offense would look better with Hayner. And look, it's garbage time, but Hayner comes in, being efficient. Like I said, even the drop wasn't his fault. It was on the receiver's hands. Saints are moving. They might, again, NFL teams don't throw away any film, no matter how bad it is. They're going to look at this and go, hey, does this give us a better chance? In the meantime, doesn't mean we're giving up on Rattler. Just means we were efficient and moved the ball more than we had for most of the night, garbage time or not. We might give Jake the start.
Max for $2. Sorry you had to experience whatever this is. This is Saints football, baby. This is Saints football.
Indeed.
We're used to this. We are professionals. All right.
Says Perna is the only person that enjoyed this game. I don't know about the only person, but I hope he had a very good night. Again, we didn't get a chance to drop over to his stream, but certainly we're going to end up donating to his cause, and I hope he had a killer night. And if there was a good reason for the Broncos to win, if it pumped up that effort, hey, there we go.
Oh my God, the overhit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Everybody hates Jake Haener.
Fuck. Gotta be kidding me.
I told you the only bet I would have taken in this game was the under. And then the Broncos went off and Jake Haener had to break the seal. Efficient drive from him, though. I mean, after Rattler got hurt, he was sharp. Look at that. That's really good ball location. A little bit on the back shoulder, but not much. On time, right there.
What a
Catch
bad beat, man. What a bad beat.
That is a bad beat. That is absolutely a bad beat. And they were setting up for a bad beat, and then an injury feels like it tips it, right? Rattler with the hip pointer. Rattler hadn't done diddly all night. Haener comes in, drives him down the field, scores a touchdown, like 4 or 5 throws.
I put $10 on the over as a joke. Oh man. Well, congratulations on your
better lucky than good.
$2.
This is Saints football, and it was glorious to see as a Falcons fan. Oh, yep.
The Flaminator for $5. I had league volleyball tonight. Can I get a quick breakdown of what happened?
Oh my god.
Oh god.
First 3.5 quarters were basically football in a blender. The Broncos decided they were going to absolutely run the ball down the Saints' throat, which sounds like a crazy strategy. It worked to perfection. They broke the Saints' will pretty much early in the second half, broke off a couple of long runs, touchdowns ensued. Saints had nothing until you got here, so maybe you're their good luck charm, because they literally did jack diddly until you showed up, and then Haener marched 45 yards after Rattler got a hip pointer, scored a touchdown. That's it. That's the game in a nutshell. Done.
As a passer, Bo Nix was bad. As a runner, Bo Nix was good. As both, Spencer Rattler was worse.
And the Broncos defense was ferocious.
Yes. Yes. Broncos defense was unbelievable again, as they are
and,
all the time.
And the Saints punter has a horrible number. It's not acceptable. We need to change.org petition change this. Like, can't do this, man. And they've had to declare the onside. They're going to try the onside kick. Are you serious? Really? Down 23, you're going to try the onside kick with $1:22 to go? Okay. I mean, if you're down like 16 or something, sure, go for it. I just don't see the logic down 23.
Live practice. Oh, man. Just why won't this game fucking end?
Well, now because we have to decide and declare and try an onside kick for no good reason.
But, like,
whatsoever.
why?
Have to just try that. You don't. Like, that's the thing, is you're down 23 points with $1:22. You got to score. It's ridiculous. You got to score 3 touchdowns plus some conversions.
Plus two 2-point conversions in a minute 22. Yeah.
Yeah, and get 2 more onside kicks. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is redonkulous.
Brett, please
I would
just
love
feed the cat.
Somebody, yeah, feed the cat. It's true. I wish that somebody could run probability on this real quick, because the probability's got to be like 0.00 something. Like, it's not happening. Like, the probability of people getting in a fight trying to dislodge that ball is probably decent. Like, that's probably like 1 in 5. But you're going to get 3 onside kicks, score 3 touchdowns, and 2 2-point conversions to do what? Like, no, get out of here. Peyton, he's laughing for the same reason. He's like, what are you doing? All right, do whatever. I don't care.
Well, with them kneeling it out, I think we can finally end what was certainly, I'm not going to say a good night, but an eventful night.
It was better than I expected in terms of we got to see a little bit more, I think. It was surprising.
My cat is like literally yelling at me right now. It's like,
wrap
up the fucking stream. Okay, we're going to get out of here.
EJ to go away.
Thank you to everybody who came by. Remember, tomorrow we have a very interesting podcast dropping tomorrow in the NFC North. It's not a game preview podcast. It's talking through all 4 teams in the NFC North that are all the 4 highest point differentials in the NFL. And we're going to talk about their key weaknesses in terms of how they're all kind of nightmare matchups for each other and how they're about to beat each other up, essentially. Because we have yet to see most of those division games. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. We're going to get out of here. And until tomorrow, see you then.
Take care.